Warning. The Pop Punk Book Club features heavily biased opinions and unapologetically wild takes performed either by professionals or under the supervision of professionals to ensure the safety of performers and animals alike. We may sound confident, but our views are based entirely on personal feelings. Accordingly, the PPBC and the producers must insist that everyone attempt to recreate and reenact these stunts and activities. Join us at poppunkbookclub.com.
So, as predicted, you are now a father for the third time.
For the
Congratulations.
I've always thought it's weird that people say that. Like you're a father for the third time.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard work for us dads. You know, the stress is showing. You got it coming through on your face again.
I know. I haven't had time to shave.
You grow it in a perfect trimmed beard and neckline. Yeah, I'm having a time, mate. It's so hard. But we were like last episode. You were had your duffel bag packed.
I was worried. Jess was like, if I call you, you have to leave right now, like straight away. Yeah. But no, it was okay.
And don't worry, everyone, last week wasn't the reason. That wasn't the reason we missed last week's episode.
No.
You had a lot of sickness going through your house. And yes. I have a pretty massive personal milestone deadline coming up. Been working for like 5 years on a new book that I've written, and it's due to come out in the next couple of weeks. Everyone here's like kind of the first people to hear that. I haven't actually announced that yet. So exclusive announcement.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with Pop Punk.
Are you still on schedule?
Yeah. I think I'm going to just, to be honest, slow it down just a little bit so I can kind of not rush myself to the finish line, so to speak. Yeah. But yes, I am very much on schedule for that. But then because I had to record a bit more of my audiobook, I was like, I can't. Every time that Sam's sick in here, he carries the plague, even though he says it's just a cold. And I'm sick with it. So I said, let's just give it a miss. If we're not here, if we miss a week, just think that Sam's been sick. And I just didn't want to catch it. I didn't feel like being sick for 2.5 weeks.
We were going to get hazmat suits so that we could press on.
Yeah,
but we
exactly.
should just have some of those just in the cupboard.
But you casually said to me, I was like, so how are you feeling? Like, look, I got a bit of a cold. After telling me that your kids have been in and out of hospital and like on all forms of experimental steroids, trying to figure out what it is wrong with them.
Owen's now got 3 eyes. Well, it affected the kids more than it affected me. And Owen did have to go to hospital, but it was like more precautionary than anything. Like he had to go in to get some steroids in the middle of the night. Like it wasn't a massive deal.
Yeah, he's hit a new PR, mate. He comes home to lift in the middle of the night hearing the clinks of the plates.
But dude, I almost had to do some like emergency, not surgery, but like...
That's what I thought the next word was going to be.
So I had to take Owen to the hospital in the middle of the night and we're pulling into the car park and a car pulls in basically at the same time as me, and I can see he's on the other side of the road that I park in, so I can see their car through my rear vision mirror. I see this obviously heavily pregnant woman get out of the car,
right,
in a fair bit of discomfort.
Oh.
And then I see a bloke get out of the driver's seat, presumably her partner, looking a little bit stressed, rushing to the back of the car to get the bags out. And I was like, oh, how nice. Like they've just arrived at the hospital. They're about to have a baby. Like maybe that's their first baby. That's really exciting for them.
Yeah.
And then they go to the lift, which is like right near where their car was parked, and they disappear. And then I get out of my car, grab a couple of things, start getting Owen out of the car.
For some reason, I thought you were walking into the hospital being so caught up in the romanticism of them that you forgot your son. Just in the car, left coughing a lung up just in the car.
I then start getting Owen out of the car, and I hear these screams. And these are like...
From Owen or the pregnant lady?
Well...
Oh, the husband.
I wasn't 100...
Husband's a bit stressed.
I wasn't 100% sure at this point, but these were like guttural screams. Yeah. And I was like, that's got to be the pregnant lady. And by this point, I can't see her because she's gone to the next level up in the car park, but I can obviously hear her.
Yeah.
So I start wrangling Owen, and it's late at night and he's a bit tired. He doesn't want to get out of the car. But I get him out of the car. We start walking towards the lift. Another minute, perhaps, has gone by. And I hear her screaming, this baby is coming. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Like
in the car park?
Well, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if there's anyone else around them. Like, we better go and check that these people are okay. Like,
yeah.
You know how like at the John Hunter, like, the car park's like across the road, but it's reasonably close to the hospital.
But also there's like no parks ever. I'm surprised that...
Well, it was the middle of the night. Like it was okay. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if there's medical staff nearby or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we better go and check that she's all right.
You look a bit like a doctor too. Like if you showed up, I would expect, you know, I mean, there's just a little inkling that might be like, please. I turn up, they're not thinking I'm a doctor. You know what I mean?
We call the lift, get in the lift. By the time we get to the top of the lift and step out onto the concourse, this woman is like on the ground, on the footpath, clothes are off. She's like having the baby.
What?
This is like literally, it's like maybe 2 to 3 minutes, not even that, since she got out of the car in the car park.
Wow.
Yeah. And fortunately, there were like 5 or 6
Husband's
paramedics
like,
around it.
contractions are 2 to 3 seconds apart. We should be going to the hospital right now. It's like, just meant to be minutes.
I thought when I saw him get out of the car, I was like, that is the look of a guy that's like, his wife's been telling him we've got to go to the
he's
hospital.
like, she'll be right,
and for 4 hours, he's been saying, no, we'll just wait. That's all right. I'm just going to finish this beer.
Yeah. Or there's like a score of a cricket game on or something, you know? It's like, come on, I've got to see if they close this innings out.
So she's giving birth to the baby. Fortunately, there's...
Full crowning in the middle of a car park.
And there's paramedics around, so I'm like,
if we had actual podcast title names, that'd be the title of this episode. Crowning in a car park.
Flaming in a car park. So I get Owen. I'm like, they're blocking the only way through the path. And I'm like,
excuse
me.
It's a bit
rude. Yeah, I don't want to be like, mind if I just squeeze through?
Rude? And she step over her, like really like emphatically.
If you could just keep it down, please. Yeah. So we back into the lift and go back down the lift and we walk around.
What a rude shock for Owen. Like he's up in the ceiling.
So I haven't spoken to him about this. I think he was out of it and a bit oblivious and he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I sort of saw her. She was like in front of us and along a little bit. So like he may not have seen the specifics of what was happening. But I've sort of backed away with him. We got back in the lift, went down, went to the nearest stairs and went up and around, right? Again, this took us maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. And we come back. We've got to go back basically past where they are to cross the road to get to the hospital. By the time we get back, the baby has been born.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Baby is crying. The paramedics are looking like they've got smiles on their faces, like everything I think is okay.
Holy shit.
That baby arrived quickly.
I genuinely thought you were going to say that, you know how sometimes that you think you're closer than you are and it's like you think you're close and then you might go through some significant set of contractions, but then you go, oh, it's not here yet.
Yeah.
We'll keep moving forward. So the baby was literally, it came out in a car park.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Because you hear stories about like people saying, oh, I gave birth in the car or in the bathroom or in my kitchen or something because the baby just came.
Yeah.
That baby's like story is going to be, I was born in a car park.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the dude from Pop Punk Book Club walked by, I think. The guy's like, hang on a minute. I was just watching one of your episodes. That's why
he was putting his scrubs on. He was like getting ready to catch the baby. I
was trying to figure out why there was no audio at the end of the Ocean Avenue episode that I just found out just before recording, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Man, that's funny.
Yeah.
So luckily Owen's all right. Speaking of your son though.
Yes.
Kate, as everyone knows who's a listener of the podcast, we have this very small country town, seems like tie-in that everyone knows everyone. And my fiance's mum is best friends with your mum.
Yes.
She said, your mum the other day, that Owen was talking about the fact that you and I do a podcast together. I don't know if you heard this.
He probably talks about it, yeah.
Yeah, and she said, oh, so who does he do the podcast with? And he said, Jason Heavens. Jason Heavens was just a little bit of a big shoes to fill there. When do you ever say your own name wrong? I was laughing when I saw last time. He goes, Jason Evans, he's other true love.
Yes, he has said that.
Really?
Yeah, he says that at home quite a bit.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He's other true love. But here I am. And we're here. And we're not, look, for the first time, well, this season, I guess, that's a pretty good thing. We've had until this episode, we've had a 100% rate of, you know, one of our partners may go into labor.
Yeah,
so we don't have that for this
surviving the episode.
Yep, surviving the episode. We can take our time for this one. We can chill out just a little bit.
You've got a little bit of time though, don't you? You're Jim May?
Yeah, so I don't have the worry of going into labor tonight, which is good. But I guess that will come. I'll have my episode for that where I'll just be like 1 foot out the door wondering. But it's funny because did your kids ever with your new baby, do they ever come up with suggestions for like baby names?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Were they good or were they shocking?
Owen wanted to name Evelyn and his suggestions were, I think, Connor if it was a boy and Caitlin if it was a girl, which were named after two like Thomas the Tank Engine trains they like. And then he wanted to name the baby this time Billy or Lily.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
so
cute.
he came up with like very reasonable names.
Yeah,
we didn't go with any of them, but like...
Julia comes up with names because we know we're having a girl, and Julia comes up with names that are so fantastical and princess-like and beautiful, like Arabella and names like that.
Okay.
And when we say, oh, okay, that's cool, but it's not really the vibe of the names we're going to go for, Julia's just completely gone, well, fine then. I'm not going to give you any more of my suggestions. But then she came up with one.
Say, that's fine. I'm not going to speak to this baby ever.
No, I'm not going to give you my
baby's
suggestions.
dead to me.
But then she came up with one that she is now telling everybody that it's going to be the baby's name.
Yeah.
She is now telling people that we're going to call the baby Allergic to Nuts. That's the name. She's got, fine, if you don't want my actual pretty name, she can have Allergic to Nuts. And then she said to my mom, I was like, you know that Julia wants to call what do you want to call it, sweetie? She's like, Allergic to Nuts. And I was like, cool. My daughter's like 7, by the way. She's not like, sounds like something a little kid would come up with. She said, and then she'll have to go around saying, hi, everyone, I'm allergic to nuts. Hope you don't have peanut butter on your hands.
That's actually very clever.
I know, yeah, it's a good little stand-up.
It's like a Lane on Woodley joke.
Yeah. It's, she's got good genes.
She really does.
It was in the jeans, and I would be wearing jeans.
You're not allowed to say she's got good genes anymore, you know?
Why?
Particularly when you've got blue eyes. People don't like that. Anyway.
Yeah. I nearly put something straight in the cancel folder, but we're good. So I just want to say it has been Christmas since the last episode. We did Boxcar Racer, but this is the first one back in the routine. That we recorded that one shortly after Christmas.
Yeah.
And there's a few things we have to add to the bookshelf gifts and stuff that we got over the years. First of all, Sam got me this out of nowhere.
Oh, I did too.
Amazing gifts. Amazing gifts. It's why'd I show that side? It's 500 essential pop punk albums. Maybe you could open that up for everybody.
I can.
It's amazing.
It's a weighty tome.
It is really cool. So what I thought we could do is maybe
cross them off, tear them out as we go through them.
But what's cool about it is that there's so many in there. I listened to a few of them, and it's really interesting because it's not just straight pop punk, which is going to make some little nerds mad who say, that's not pop punk. One of my favorite.
I've already hit a little stumbling block with that podcast.
Speaking of that, actually, Ben.
So that made the list of the...
Yeah. Well, we went out, as I said, we went out for dinner with Ben, and last episode he said I didn't bring it in yet because I just forgot. Ben gave me his Saves the Day album so that can go up here begrudgingly on the shelf.
That's actually a really good album.
Is it?
Yeah. If you
I'll be the
took
judge
the
of that.
time to pay attention to Saves the Day, you would probably enjoy that album.
Oh, no. Okay, this is why I don't put stuff up here. Oh, no, mate. I've also done
speaking of which,
pretty bad for the Australian stereotypes there.
I just saw, obviously this would have to make the list, The Descendants, Marlowe Goes to College.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, or did you see that they're playing the Roundhouse in Sydney in like a couple of days' time?
A couple of days, damn. But I was thinking what we could do is just randomly just filter through, finger down, and that's the next week's episode. We do like a random roll.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Weeks. Yeah. Yeah, sounds good to me. But
I'm just going to pop that here.
But that's the thing. We can just flip through them and pull a random one out and do it, find albums that way, I guess.
Yep.
But there's the Saves the Day album too. And something else that isn't really a present. Sam got me this for my birthday last year in July when we just started the podcast.
Yes.
So this is Sellout by Dan Ozzi, who's the guy that actually helped Mark Hoppus with his book. He was the co-author, I guess. How would you say that? Like,
I think so, co-author,
an assistant author. But this is like one of the most like thorough, incredible storied breakdowns of like not just the music industry, but the punk into, like the 90s punk into, let's say post-grunge punk into pop punk into probably like post-pop punk into emo, etc.
Yes. Hardcore a little bit.
Yeah, it's very, very, very good.
He's such a good writer.
He's incredible.
Because the Mark Hoppus autobiography rather, is awesome as well.
And the fact that he still made it sound like Mark. So even though they're working on it together, it didn't feel like that. It was like outside of Mark's natural tone.
Yeah.
This is so thorough and written, I guess, spoken. Because I admittedly, I read a bit of this, but it's quite dense. And it made me, I had to be in the mood to read it. But when I got the audiobook, I was like, I just want to listen to this all the time.
I've been listening to the audiobook version, yeah.
Yeah, so he goes through and every chapter is actually about the album in which a band sold out, quote unquote, by signing to a record label and their story behind getting signed to a major record label and how that affected them as a band. The bands that he goes through in this book, Green Day, he does Dookie, Jawbreaker. What was the album called for Jawbreaker? Do you remember?
Dear You.
Dear You, that's right. Jimmy Eat World that was Clarity or Static Prevails? I think Static Prevails.
That's a good question.
I think it was Static Prevails. I don't know why I've just set myself up to have to remember the albums. But Dude Ranch for Blink-182, I remember that. Relationship of Command by The Drive-In. The Donners is on here. Thursday, The Distillers, My Chemical Romance, Rise Against and Against Me.
Yeah.
Man, I have to say, when I read the back of this for the first time, I felt like, and that was also confirmed after seeing how dense the chapters were, that I would probably go and just read the chapters of the bands that I knew and the albums I knew. But I ended up getting so hooked on this book that I listened to every single chapter and I learned so much about bands that I didn't know much about. And it was so damn good.
Because it tells you the history of the scene as well. Like, it focuses on those albums, but you hear a lot of the, I guess, context of what was going on around them.
I genuinely never really got when people had a big thing about, oh, you're such a sellout. But after hearing, like, the chapters of these books or the writing behind it, I get it now. Why they genuinely felt like, and he describes at the start, like labels were essentially vampires that came in and preyed upon like up and coming bands, thinking they could essentially just rinse them of money, and if they didn't, scrap them, whatever. If they was such a commodity, but so many great albums were made as a result. So
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But you kind of forget. Obviously, Nirvana was they were such a massive band, but you forget like how influential they were in various different ways. And one way that was so influential was just like opening up the eyes of major labels to alternative forms of rock.
Yeah, exactly.
And once they like.
Ever since starting this book club, the biggest takeaway that I have is not even about pop punk. It's that how influential Nirvana were. I never realized how much they changed everything.
Yeah.
Crazy. But we're talking about this. I remember when I first started listening to it, I was like, dude, you have to listen to this book. Listen to the Jawbreaker chapter. Oh. Admittedly, I've never really known much about Jawbreaker. They never really were that big in Australia, maybe because they didn't have a major label backing till later. But I listening to that chapter, it was like absolutely heartbreaking.
Yes.
Like they were the absolute like pinnacle poster boy band of the underground. And over time, they eventually saw so many bands signed to a record label that by the end, as I told you, we've chatted about this a little bit. I thought that when I read this chapter that they were going to say by the end, and Jawbreaker never did, and this is what happened if you don't sell out. But they did. And then in the only chapter prior to that was Dookie. And it was talking about that a lot of the scene let go of Green Day, but obviously they went on to monumental success after, exponential success after that album came out. But with Jawbreaker, everyone just was like, hated them for it. People were spitting when they were trying to spit in their mouths while they were playing on stage and stuff. And they were like getting like absolutely hating on Jawbreaker for selling out because they were the band that were never meant to sell out.
But then also the mainstream didn't embrace them either. So they were caught in this kind of like awkward middle ground.
But the only people that seemed to be pumping it up that much by the sounds of the chapter were the label and the producers who were like, listen to this crazy guitar tone we got. It's blending three cabinets and it's such a wall of sound. And it just never caught on in the way that they hoped for it.
Yeah. I felt, it's funny, like reading that or listening to that chapter, it felt to me like watching like an impending car crash where like you can't do anything to stop it and you can't look away because...
So you knew that they were going to sign in the end? Because I didn't, so I didn't feel that.
Well, no, it was more just like... So they were part of that Gilman Street scene, which Green Day came out of. And like they were staunchly...
Which I didn't know about until you told me about that on the Dookie episode.
No, and then we learned more about it from this book as well with the Green Day episode.
So much about it.
And they were so staunchly independent and they basically came out and promised their fans, we'll never sell out.
Yeah,
and
they did.
As soon as they did that, I was like, you shouldn't have done that.
You should never say never.
No idea what's going to come around.
Yeah, definitely. But also Ben Weasel from Screeching Weasel.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be doing their album, of course. And he said, if Jawbreaker ever sell out, I'll eat my hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they did, he like did a cover of whatever, I think it was Maximum Rock and Roll or whatever, where he was like eating his hat.
With a knife and fork. Yeah. But then everyone was like, they're never going to sell out.
The other reason why it was like a car crash was when they were recording the album with, I think it was Rob Cavallo who did Dookie.
Yeah.
And he was trying to tell them, let's do a version of, was it Boxcar? It was one of their bigger songs from a previous album. He's like, let's redo that, put it on this album because that'll be like a gateway. It'll bring a lot of your older fans in.
With a polished sound. The confidence in the polish.
But it'll also, it's a song that's really, I guess, digestible for like a broader audience as well.
And like representative of the band.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they resisted it. And you could totally understand why they resisted it. But when they eventually resisted it and they didn't include it, and then there was like nothing really for the mainstream to grab hold of, and you just kind of thought maybe if they'd included that song on the album, it might have turned out
been a different story. It's like with, as I said last episode with Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, how the label was like, where's the singles? Like if that album came out without Rock Show and First Date, that would never have been as successful as it became.
The thing about Jawbreaker, it's interesting how you were saying it was heartbreaking to listen to that.
It was
chapter.
very sad.
By the time you get to the end of the book, though, you kind of realize, even though they were kind of like the biggest losers of this whole like major label feeding frenzy, they were one of the most influential bands. And so I think when I was listening to the My Chemical Romance episode, perhaps, like and several of the other not episode rather chapters, several of the other bands as well were saying how influential that band was. So
of course,
even though they didn't, you know,
they were destined to be your favorite band's favorite band. Like they were never going to actually break it into the mainstream.
Yeah.
My biggest takeaway, honestly, we could talk about this forever and maybe we'll spread out the discussion over episodes whenever the content's relevant. But my biggest thing for me, again, coming back to Nirvana was the Thursday chapter because I did not understand. Thursday to me were always a decent band, but they were just one among many bands that I listened to around the time emo was emerging. And I could not believe the chapter when they were saying that there was a label behind Thursday that behind closed doors were like other labels were looking and going, wow, you guys have gotten the next Nirvana. And they were like, we have the next Nirvana. They're going to, after realizing how much Nirvana changed the shape of everything, Thursday were the band that, a lot of labels and higher ups that get paid a lot of money to make these decisions, they thought Thursday were going to shape music in the same way Nirvana did. I was like, am I hearing this right? Thursday? Like, not that I don't think that they're good, but like that's monumental expectations.
Yes.
And he starts the chapter with saying that to get into Jeff Rickley's basement where he put shows on, there was a sign that said, watch your head or low ceiling or something. And he said at the end that he felt like he missed, like they just didn't hit the ceiling. They hit the ceiling quickly. And the ceiling was lower than people expected.
I was like you, like I kind of liked Thursday, but was never a really big fan.
Yeah.
And then I went back and listened to them a little bit again after having listened to that chapter. And so I think the major label debut was War All the Time, I think. Which I owned, and it was a pretty good album, but I didn't
Full
think
Collapse was second, wasn't it?
No, I think that was the album that came before.
Oh,
So that was the album I
can't
went
remember.
back to listen to because I was like, this is the one that's obviously got people thinking these are
Yes,
the next
that's
Nirvana. And there's a couple of songs on there. I was like, this is really good. But
I
not
always
in that.
loved the opening track. Why am I forgetting it now? Falling from the top for your lungs feel like parachutes for the
that's
workforce
War All
drowning. That's War All the Time, but that's the one I love so much.
But Full Collapse has got like some really good songs.
Yeah.
But I didn't listen to it and think this is the next Nirvana.
Yeah. So maybe they genuinely saw how big punk just became. After they saw grunge, then they saw punk, and they went emo's the next massive thing.
Yeah.
And these guys are going to lead the way for emo, and that's the only way I can actually make like rational industry level sense of it.
And do you think maybe it was also that the frontman was kind of seen as being a bit of a poet sort of thing?
Yeah,
like,
he was, yeah. So there's probably thought that there was possible extensions outside of music that would allow him to position himself as someone like John Lennon, for example, for the Beatles.
Or Kurt Cobain type person.
Yeah, 100%. It's even better.
Yeah.
But just quickly before we move on, something I thought was really cool. I saw a reel come up on YouTube short, and it's Fat Mike talking about Nirvana. And because of Nirvana, how much it changed, how much punk bands got paid.
This.
You've seen it? So I was going to play it for everybody. It's so good.
There was no hope of ever getting popular until Nirvana broke. I didn't think Fat Records would ever be successful, nor No Effects. I mean, there was no success in 91. We're still playing in front of 200 people a night.
Hold on. By the end of 91, you had 3 full-length No Effects records out, and you only made how much money?
I made $9,000.
$9,000
That
from
was
No
great.
Effects or the label?
No
The
Effects.
label started in 90.
Yeah.
From No Effects, $9,000.
That's good. My wife was making $19,000. So
Wow.
$9,000 was, biggest punk band at the time was Bad Religion, and they were selling 10,000, 20,000 records. So what are you going to get? The whole band's going to get 20 grand,
Right.
40 grand divided by those people. It wasn't until Nirvana broke.
And that's what helped you guys?
It helped,
Nirvana breaking?
it helped everybody. The music industry switching to CDs, that's what really helped everyone. Because CDs cost 50 cents to make, so you could take chances. CDs really changed everything. And Nirvana was so fucking good.
It blew my mind when I heard that. to be
Yeah.
honest. The idea of them making the trickle down effect from grunge into punk rock.
Yes.
That's essentially what led the charge. So realistically, we have Nirvana to thank for everything. Even this podcast wouldn't exist because those bands wouldn't have existed
we need
without
to
them.
get some sort of shrine to
Right. So something that I never actually ask you, and I feel like we should be asking each other on this book club.
Yeah.
What are you listening to of late? How have we not asked this question for the entire book club? Where I was talking about, I mean, obviously the answer is whatever album we're doing this week. But aside from that, what have you been listening to?
Well, I feel like in season, it's just constantly punk rock.
True. That's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes
It's
we
like
might
the
not be
season
listening.
ends and I'm like, I can listen to other stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe we're not listening to. If we're not listening to the book club album that week, we might be listening to something else.
Yeah.
Cool to chat about it, just to see.
One
Just
album I've
quickly.
been listening to a lot recently is an album called Feng Shui by an Australian band called Fangs.
Are they Australian, are they?
Fang with a Z.
Are
Fangs
they
with a Z.
Australian?
They are
I
Australian.
didn't know
Yeah, they're
that.
from Sydney.
Right.
Super cool.
Wow.
Like punk with like a bit of like an indie rock kind of like thrashy sort of vibe.
Yep.
I
have
would
listened to
totally
them.
recommend that people check that out.
You did. You said for me to listen to them, and I flicked through a couple of songs, and I was like, "There's some energy in this album.
Yes.
It's really good."
A little bit of pop-ish sort of energy.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
not the same musical
man.
style, but like that sort of energy.
The amount of people that roasted me for saying accidentally in the draft that the pop were from America. There were some
Yes,
quite
that's
angry
right.
Canadians about
Yeah.
that. I'm very sorry. I actually knew that, which is so stupid for me
Yeah.
to say. I just wasn't thinking. I was too caught up in the draft.
But yeah, no, I've been listening to that quite a bit recently.
That's good. Nice.
How about you?
So I've been going back through a bunch of older albums that people have suggested. I see like shorts come up of people suggesting like their favorite albums, and I'll go check them out and listen. Dude, an album that I've heard. Have you ever listened to much Refused?
No.
So I haven't listened to them really at all. I've heard of them. I'm familiar with them, but not really that much. I nearly said, like I was with Fugazi before I listened to Fugazi, but that's the same with any band. I was unfamiliar with them until I listened to them. But it was like when I was younger, I heard a lot of people talk about Fugazi, and then I end up listening to them later. But then turns out I actually knew them a little bit because their songs are used in skate videos I used to watch. But Refused. They're a band that typically would be brought up in similar conversations as Fugazi. Not the same bands at all, but they've got an album called The Shape of Punk to Come.
Right.
Man, I'm not even kidding.
This is a recent one or an old one?
No, it's old. That's my point. I think it came out in 97 or 98.
Right.
It is one of the best sounding albums, like mix-wise, like tonally, and like strange with like the genre bending that they do in it and that kind of stuff. But it's one of the like most incredible mixes I've ever heard, and one of the most progressive albums that I've ever heard.
Interesting.
And it's like pre-2000. And there's so many bands that I can hear within them that I'm like, you know what? I hear so much. let me put it this way. When I first heard The Used, I was like, this is such a unique sound that I've like never heard before. And then like, I'm like, surely there's bands that they're pulling from that I just haven't listened to. Hearing Refused, I'm like, oh, The Used are so influenced by Refused, I would think. Also, it's like when I told my friend about, this is years ago, how much I loved Define the Great Line by Under Oath. Yeah. And it's one of my favorite albums I've ever heard. And he's a bit of a music connoisseur, this guy. And he's like, oh, dude, you mean ISIS? And I was like, what? Which is unfortunate for the band that they're called ISIS. But he's like, oh, have you not heard ISIS before? And I was like, no. And he showed me ISIS, and it dead set sounds exactly like Define the Great Line.
Oh, right.
He's like, this is like plagiarism of ISIS for Define the Great Line. And I was like, here I am thinking that Define the Great Line was just so unique. Yeah. Like, but everyone pulls from their influences.
Sure.
But Refused, Shape of Punk to Come.
Cool.
Check that out because I just want to hear what you think of it.
Yeah, okay.
It is so forward thinking and so weird in it, like, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But also just the mix. It's just, oh, dude, chef's kiss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
So good.
Okay.
But let's got some comments to get to. First of all, let me just say that the Pop Punk Book Club Popeth Punk winner for last week, if you didn't get the answer, it was
70 times 7.
70 times 7 by Brand New. Cannot believe that Ben didn't get the jellyfish line. Yes. That was so funny. We're like, come on. And he's like, still don't get it. So the winner for that was called Puli, Puli. He or she got into it straight away. He didn't actually give the answer though. He hit the lyrics. Back in school, they never taught us what we needed to know.
What a community-minded person to be like, I'm going to tell you that I know it, but I'm not going to spoil it for other people.
Yeah, that's good. I like when people say, got it, this line gave it away, but they don't actually say what the answer is. I really love that. Very, very good. I did see a comment that was really funny that I guess it doesn't really work anymore because you're growing your beard back for some reason. Pilot mustache Sam's gone.
Yeah, I know.
Believe it or not, this is what Sam looked like for about 20, probably 15 years. You only shaved the mustache in before the first step. You turned up for the first recording with a mustache. I was like, oh, what's going on? But now I'm
doing a bit.
I see you with a beard. I'm like, I'm used to you with a mustache.
Yeah.
Someone said, it's a Luigi. That's another comment, right? And I thought about it. I'm like, I'm definitely the Mario in this group.
Because I think I had like a green hat on as well in that video.
Did you?
Yeah. And now every time I wear the hat when I've got my mustache, I think of that comment. So you, whoever the person was that said
That's right. But then, okay, so you're admitting that you are the Luigi of the group. I would be the Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'll take that.
I'm happy to own that.
Which means I'm the Bart and you're the Milhouse.
I would sadly think I would have to accept that.
No, there's no argument from you. That's funny. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So some other comments I saw that were really funny was a guy, Thorn Pour Outside, said, 1 vote for the occasional emo book club. I like that. I think it's really cool.
Okay.
So people saying that they want the emo book club.
We could do like one a season.
I'm thinking that. I think that we should do that occasionally, being once a season. I think that's completely fair. That's 2 a year.
In the second half, or the season that falls in the second half of the year, we could do it on Halloween again.
Yes. Yeah.
But for the first half of the year.
April Fool's Day.
Easter.
What is that got to do with? Just no holiday. But sure, we can do April Fool's Day. That makes sense. Like it's April Fool's for the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. We've never done an April Fool's Day episode before.
Were we filming on April Fool's Day last year? I don't think we were.
No, we started, everything came out in August, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, got another comment here. We'll just do one more. Actually, 2 more. Someone said it's on your video the video we put up about you talking about Boxcar Racer potentially being Travis's best album.
I was wondering what people might say about that.
Yeah. So one comment said, and some of the most interesting drum sounds and production, big roomy drums, loops, marching snare patterns. It's so experimental, but in the best way.
Cool.
So that's absolutely true. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think it's exactly right. But to me, I think that is exactly what you were saying. That's an extension of Travis's creativity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But very meta of that for me to actually, oh, God forbid, I actually have like a slightly like thought out take. Got a comment from a guy in that same video that said, I love how you guys speak so deeply about punk. I mean, I agree, but some may not. And I'm like, how can you not like, what do you want, dumber takes? Like, we already make stupid takes, but if we actually have something thoughtful to say about pop punk or something like that, it's like, I agree, but some might not. Well, it's not controversial. I mean, and I just said it's fun to nerd out, but honestly, like, what do you want from us? Like, it's not punk with the stuff we do. By the way, I don't know if I got through this sentence before, but one of my favorite, like arch enemy, like rival things or just fights about this podcast is you versus people who say that the albums we do aren't pop punk. You snap so quickly about that. But people saying the albums are pop punk, and now we say something about, oh, this might be Travis Barker's best album. It's like, wow, okay. I like that you talk about it with such depth, but some people might not. What do they want instead? For us to just go, well, Travis good on drums, or not even that, just like, No, what did they just want to silence us or something? I genuinely don't know what the other option is.
I did wonder if that was going to be a controversial comment, though. Not that I said it to be controversial, but I just thought there might be a lot of people that are like, oh, come on.
Like the Untitled Blink album had more experimentation on it.
Yeah.
No, that's a good take. I like it.
Wasn't there someone else that was telling us that NoFX is not pop punk again?
Oh, yeah.
We get it, guys. You don't need to tell us that. We love them. So they're welcome here regardless of what genre of music they are.
We say we're on the quest to find the best pop punk and adjacent albums of all time. And sometimes it has to be adjacent, okay?
Yeah.
It's not pop punk. It's actually technically skate punk, but with a twist of like a ska root elements punk. We're not genre nerds here. We're inclusive.
Okay, it's time. Hit it, Greg.
He finds a new song from a brand new record, then tries to give it his best 10 seconds. That's all it takes for him to tell you what he reckons. It's premature evaluation with Sam.
I'm going to lose all credibility from this. Oh, every last shred of self-respect is gone. All right. Anyway, Newfound Glory has a new album out. Did you know that?
No, I don't actually know that.
It came out, I think, February 20. It's called Listen Up.
Okay.
Yeah. Haven't listened to the full album because...
Yeah, that's the whole point of premature evaluation.
Have listened to the first single, which is called A Love Song.
Let's keep a tally of how many times I accidentally say the other thing when I'm trying to say premature evaluation. Yeah.
Are you there yet? Have you said it?
No,
Are you there yet?
not yet. Be quick.
So much innuendo. Yeah. So I've listened to the first single. Really cool. It's got like this like Motley Crue style
Motley
riff.
Crue?
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
like, because I know like Newfound have always kind of like used like metal riffs and
Hardcore
and rhythms.
specifically, yeah. Driven from there.
But this is like a bit different for them. Really cool though. It's got a big like melodic Newfound Glory chorus.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's like not quite based on my premature evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's like in Crown territory, but it's like definitely in great territory. And I definitely recommend people listen to that new Newfound album.
Oh, sweet. Because I was running that. I was going to say, like, what are the vibes you're getting for ratings? We should do that for this new segment. Like, you should say about where you're feeling the rating's going to be.
So at the moment, I'm feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I've only really listened to that song and a couple of other songs briefly.
Do you find that songs, if they're Crowns, immediately like are identifiable as Crowns? I think so.
You can tell pretty early on.
I think Flames are the ones that you don't have to sit with sometimes. You might sit on a grate for a bit and go, actually, this is a Flame.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Whereas this one didn't. You get like a feeling when you've got a Crown, like it hits you in a certain way.
Yeah.
And you find
It's an
yourself
energy
thinking, that's
thing.
a banger type thing.
Yeah,
and I
100%.
didn't think that with this. But like I said, it's still great though.
Yeah.
Would definitely recommend it to people.
What's it called?
The song is called A Love Song.
A Love Song.
And I think that's the first single of Listen Up, which came out very recently. All right, this week's album. Forgot to tell people, didn't we?
Classic.
We had to do a little addendum to our last episode.
We had to do that on, funnily enough, the first episode we shot for season 1 as well. It seems to be our first episodes back. We slip up.
Yeah.
Maybe we get one a season, but we've burnt it already. That's the problem. Yeah, we had to add it on. It was Bark Like a Dog by Screeching Weasel. Everyone would know that by now who's playing along with us.
Yeah. Are these guys like the 1990s Ramones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Straight into the notes here. You know that they actually literally recorded the whole self-titled Ramones album as a covers album. Have you listened to it?
No, I haven't listened. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I somehow expected it to be like a more polished kind of record. Like, especially considering that it came out maybe 20 years later after the original with like more modern technology, etc. I figured that it was going to be, there's a part of me that was excited because I love that album, and to hear it covered in like, you know, when sometimes you hear bands record a cover and it's just so much more polished. It's obviously the original is always going to be better, but it makes it fun to listen to the cover.
Yeah, sure.
But I just got the vibe. Sorry to start off with like a negative take, but I got the vibe that it was almost like a Little Brothers band having a go, and it really just made me realize now I have something to literally compare apples to apples with.
Sure.
How good the Ramones are.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I mean, it's a fun album, but like it just, there's such a gap between them that even someone knowing how the songs should go and having time to potentially improve upon the production still can't match what the Ramones did with no production in some small little studio with no money.
And because they weren't, like, it's not like they're complex songs.
No,
but it's
not
just,
at all.
they just captured an energy.
Yeah, they even tried on that recording, I think, production-wise, similarly by panning the bass left and the guitar right. They tried to do very similar things.
They did.
It was still fun.
I think they recorded it in like one long session, though, didn't they?
That would
like,
make sense.
They were obviously like on the clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's crazy to like release a whole cover album. I think it was like part of a series though. Like there was someone that organized like a whole bunch of bands to do covers of separate Ramones tracks, Ramones albums rather.
That's crazy for it to be a whole album. They even reshot the album cover.
Yes.
I mean, I love it. I think it's really cool. But then maybe would there be criticism of people being like, stay in your own lane sort of thing? Like, is in like to cover a band's album and replicate everything they did? Is that a little bit try hard?
So it's interesting because when I first started listening to this album, I was like, oh my God, this is like the Ramones, but like in the 90s. And then after reading about them, I was like, oh, they kind of like, they're deliberately angling themselves that way. And like, like they use stage names.
Oh, do they?
Well,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Ben Weasel,
Ben
and
Weasel,
like they've
etc.
all got.
For like a second when I first read his name, I was like, is that really his last name? But it's the same thing with in Sellout. He'll get another opportunity to talk about it.
Yeah.
The Donnas, when they first started, that was meant to be a Ramones-esque. Again, Ramones are like the Nirvana.
Yeah.
At least they have that trigger. And they're pre-Nirvana. So between the Ramones and Nirvana, we've got most of what we like to thank for that. But the Donnas was actually a side project from their other band. It was like the Electrocutors or something like that. I can't remember what they're called. And the Donnas were a Ramones-style fun 3-chord kind of easy to sing along, like pop, punk, pop rock kind of band. And that was the one that the label wanted to sign. So that's what got picked up. What a weird situation. Again, every chapter's so unique in that book with a unique challenge. But imagine like your serious band not really getting as much attention as your joke side band. And like you'd be like, please let us show the world what we can do. But everyone just wants you to play 3-chord songs.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. I hear the Ramones in this album so much. Yeah. Meaning Bark Like a Dog, not literally the Ramones cover up. I hear the Ramones a bit in that one, to be honest.
Have you listened to any of their other albums?
No.
Okay.
To be honest, I only knew about Screeching Weasel because, I mean, I've heard this album before. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to this before in the past.
Yeah.
But not rated it to this level. But how I knew about Screeching Weasel was Tom DeLonge in Urethra Chronicles.
Yes.
He says that's one of the bands he listened to because I was a young, impressionable 15-year-old. I was, he might have said Fugazi there as well, but that might have been where I first heard about it. But I heard about Screeching Weasel, never really got around to listening to them though much until like a few years ago when I listened to this album. But no, I haven't listened to other albums.
Okay. Because I had listened to 2 of their other albums are really good. Yeah, no.
Right above our heads.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect spot. My Brain Hurts, which came out in 91.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think there's another one called Anthem for a New Tomorrow, which came out in 93.
Okay.
Both really good.
Yeah.
And they're like similar to this album in terms of like the overall energy, but it doesn't lean into the Ramones influence as much. So if people were like a little bit, like the Ramones thing kind of like got to them a little bit.
Yes.
Because it felt a little like imitaty, I guess, if that makes sense.
That's what I was trying to say. When I said try hard, and I realized that was the wrong word as soon as I said it. But it's that thing of like stay in your own lane, kind of find your own thing.
Yeah.
Rather than like becoming a borderline tribute band in a way,
Yes.
like being that influenced by them. But then again, when we were younger, there were so many bands that tried to be, not just be like their favorite bands, but be their favorite bands, down to mannerisms, the way they dressed, the way they acted.
Yeah.
So it's just, imitation's the most sincere form of flattery.
I guess that's true, yeah.
But I have to say, after hearing this album, Dude Ranch makes so much more sense to me now. There is so much Dude Ranch.
Yes.
So much of this in Dude Ranch.
And even earlier, like Cheshire Cat as well.
Yeah, but this album came out a year before Dude Ranch, I think.
Oh,
so it's very close.
Yeah, sure.
So I wonder if like when this came out, it was already like a trendy sound that they were liking and listening to. But is this their first album or was there albums before this?
For
Screeching Weasel?
No, this is their like 8th or something. They've been around for a while.
Okay, so there you go. So it might have been more prior.
And those
Screeching Weasel.
those other 2 albums I mentioned are both before this one, and maybe those are the ones that I was hearing the influence of Cheshire Cat on.
Yeah.
Hearing Cheshire Cat.
Hearing its influence on Cheshire Cat. I got you, man. That's I got picked up when you fall down.
They've got a really interesting history though, because like they've changed. They've had tons of lineup changes, and like Mike Dirnt recorded one of their albums.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like as in recorded on it as like a bass player, or he produced like
No, he recorded the bass for that album.
Oh, right, okay.
I think it was like one of the albums before this one. I don't know that he was ever part of the band per se, but was like he did the bass for one of their albums.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And like I don't know whether you saw this, but I don't think they played live between like 1993 and 2000 or something. Like
really?
Yeah. They didn't play live. I don't think Ben Weasel liked playing live.
Okay.
I don't know whether you saw this, but he had like some mental health issues.
Okay.
I don't know whether that played into it at all.
Yep.
But he didn't like playing live, and so the band didn't tour, and like for a really long period of time.
Yeah, right. And that's way before like studio project bands kind of came out where they don't really play live.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Ahead of the curve there. That's awesome.
It sounds like he's a bit of a complicated figure as well.
And also he was very involved in the scene in general. So maybe there was a lot of weight of like, if you're the dude of the scene, people are going to really look at your music through a very focused lens. You know, maybe there might be that too. But for the most part, Screeching Weasel have like a very positive reputation. You know, a lot of people really like Screeching Weasel.
Oh, it sounds like they're super influential because a lot of bands like Blink have said like the these guys were really influential on that.
How weird for a band to be so influenced by another band that they don't realize. I mean, maybe they do realize, but like you wouldn't think on paper that a band that is so close to another band would be so influential in a different way.
Yep.
It's not like the Ramones. Like if Screeching Weasel are very similar to the Ramones, you would think they'd have a similar influence to what the Ramones would just have on another band. But it's not the same influence as Screeching Weasel to the Ramones because of the natural inherent qualities that Screeching Weasel bring. Namely, one of them being quite a defining voice that I think would be an acquired taste for a lot of people.
Yes.
Part of the reason why I didn't like Smash that much was because that acquired taste wasn't for me with the vocal sound.
Sure.
For this, I could understand if someone said that it was too potentially grating for them.
Yeah.
I remember when I had it on in the car recently, I said to Kate, I was like, oh, this is the album we're doing for the book club. I just want to get familiar with it. And she said, she was fine listening to it, but then she said, it just sounds a bit whingy, doesn't it? And I'm like, yeah, he has a bit of a whingy voice. And it's very nasally. So I think that maybe that could have influenced a lot of the nasal sound in pop punk vocals. But I can understand that for some people, this might be not their thing. Because vocals make up such a big part of an album.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I think also this album has the Ramones influence standing out the most of their other albums. So those other two albums I listened to, they don't sound anywhere near as much like the Ramones as this one does.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Right, that's interesting.
And so that's why I'd recommend if
later.
people are like, I like parts of this, but the Ramones thing is not my vibe. If you check out some of these other albums by Screeching Weasel, I think, you'd really like those other albums. Yeah. All right. Get Off My Back.
Yes.
What'd you give it?
I gave this one a great.
So did I.
Yeah, I think it's a great opener.
Yeah.
I struggled with this one a bit.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, is this a crown? It's not hitting me in the way that it is, but is it actually? And I'm just missing the point. And then I when songs just click and you go, I've said it before on the show where I'm like, hang on a minute, this is a crown song. So I was waiting for that click moment and it didn't quite come.
Yeah.
But then I realized it is the easiest song to rate for me ever because I was like, this to me is the exact same as Burnout from the opener on Dookie. It has the same energy, same vibe. It actually sounds quite a lot like Burnout.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I gave that a grade and I was like, well, yeah. I think it has more of a potential, as we've talked about, you don't have to go crown to flame. I think it would probably be closer to, it's not a flame for me, but Burnout was, I think. That's why I was struggling with this as a crown or not.
I see.
It's not a crown song, but I think it could have been a flame maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with this one, I think that is definitely just solid, great energy.
Yeah. I was like you. I thought to myself, I think when I put the album on and started doing my ratings, I was expecting to give this song a crown. And then when I was listening, I was like, it doesn't get there.
No.
But the chorus is great, but it doesn't.
Great.
It doesn't hit you in the same way like a real banger song does.
I think that's the problem is when you start thinking that like a crown song is a great song, then you're going to start giving great songs crowns when they shouldn't be. Like we have a rating for great songs and this is a great song.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Even in the beginning, I was like, you kind of feel bad sometimes not giving songs crowns.
Yeah.
But it's not. And that's not a bad thing. It's a great song. You know, I'm not saying it's a bad song.
I feel like you can hear the Ramones influence straight off the bat.
Yeah,
well.
how it
like
just
the 1 4
explodes
5
in.
progression and
Comes straight in, doesn't waste any time.
They do that quite a bit. Like the vocals start on like beat 1 basically.
Yeah, which is very Ramones.
It is a bit, yeah.
Yeah,
well, they don't do the 1 2 3 4 counting.
And they got a little bit more lyrics. A little bit.
That's true.
I think they don't have a lot of lyrics, but compared to the Ramones, it's like 4 or 5 times as much.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, the guitar tone on this entire album, which I think they've just kind of committed to a tone for the whole album, is so good. It's such a nice guitar tone. Such a punk rock, like a punk rock kind of guitar tone that everyone would want to chase, like the Ramones, because Ramones has such a good guitar tone as well.
Yep.
That's why I love the Remingtons and Badfoot, because as I said, Justin has the Ramones guitar and has a very similar guitar tone.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's very of this time as well. Like punk rock of this period, like this is what the guitars, I think of this style of guitar.
Yeah. I also thought lyrically, now it makes sense a lot when you're talking about he has had his journey through mental health, etc.
Yeah.
I can kind of get that through his lyrics and understanding like the comparison. I can just see that as someone who's gone through mental health stuff myself. I don't know, that just really like, it makes sense now why I'm connecting a lot with some of his lyrics. I really like it says, it's the whole first verse. Well, you're outside looking in, poking your finger at me, and you know that's a really good way to lose that thing, but I'm not going to bite it this time because I know that that you think you're right, but the facts of the case indicate that you're out of line. I love the continuation of that. It's not like it's just one flowing thought about you're doing this and you're pointing your finger at me and I'm not going to bite your finger off. I mean, like it just keeps going from this. It just keeps passing the baton down the lyrics. It's so cool. I really like that. I also thought it was a bit of I just wrote question mark with lol. I was a bit confused by it where it said, and you're not going to last too long if you don't wise up because you're just about to get the gong.
Yeah.
The gong?
You know, like in talent
That's what I thought.
contest?
Talent shows like red faces on like
Yes.
Hey Hey It's
Is that
Saturday.
what it's a reference to?
Yeah, it's a reference to Hey Hey It's Saturday on the Australian
I mean,
niche
like, is
TV
it
show from the 90s.
But that's surely not the only time.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think that it's just about the gong is like you're about to get knocked off stage. But it
Yeah.
seems so aggressive of like, you better watch
Yeah.
out with what you're saying or you're going to not like get punched in the face or something. It's like you're going to get the gong like you're just a talent show. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I also really like the lyric. If we're talking about the lyrics, I love. Well, you're outside looking in, planning on picking a fight, but the sign on your neck says no feeding the parasite. From the beginning, I was like, all right, so there's a lot that's great about this song. Maybe I thought the lyrics, maybe that's why I struggled a bit because I was thinking it could be a crown because I love the lyrics. But no, solid, great song. And the lyrics here, I think it made me go, all right, I'm really going to love listening to what he has to say on this album. Yeah.
That's interesting because these lyrics didn't jump out at me especially.
I just thought it was well said. Like not like incredible lyrics where you go, wow, that's like, for example, with Dookie, that's what I've really felt separated it. And I think if we're comparing the openers here, not as strong as the vision of Billie Joe Armstrong's lyrics on Dookie, but just hearing the way they were delivered, I'm like, I'm interested. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. So track 2. Now we've got Cool Kids. What'd you give this one?
I said crown.
I said a crown as well.
Yeah.
We're on for 2 from 2
We
here.
are.
Yep.
Oh, is this going to be the album?
We'll say that.
Yeah, no.
We know it's never going to happen.
I flirted with a flame for this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think this is such a good song.
I don't think
Ultimately,
I would-
I was like, I don't feel that emotionally connected to the song.
Yep.
But I just think it's just a rocking song.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I flirted with a crown and ended up giving it a crown. I gave this a grade originally.
Did you?
Yep. I felt like it was another great song.
Oh.
And then I was like, I actually listened through the album the first time and was like, am I going to give a crown out on this album at all?
Oh, really?
Like I thought they were like, I'm like, surely these songs are great. Like I've already kind of gotten the great vibes, but nothing until kind of later-ish gave me the vibes of like higher ratings.
Interesting.
But this one, after sitting with it, I thought so. But this is one that the external context added a lot because as soon as I read what it was about, after reading Sellout and the whole like it's Gilman Street, isn't it? Like the whole scene of the the punk rock scene. It says here, per genius.com, Cool Kids is a pretty obvious analogy to the punk scene that Ben Weasel was involved in. Although Screeching Weasel was one of the more popular bands on Lookout Records during the 1990s, other than Green Day, who left for a major label. Read Sellout if you're interested, because it goes into the whole story behind that. Ben still considered himself the blackest sheep among a crowd of them. And I was like, oh, so this whole thing of like, we don't fit in the club of the non-sellout, we love the underground punk crew thing. And he's like one of the big dudes in the underground.
Yeah.
That his insecurity or that's just how damn exclusive people were makes the Jawbreaker chapter make more sense.
I guess that's true.
So I just like,
I suspect there's a lot of insecurity.
Yeah.
Because it sounded as though they were like really like integral to the Gilman Street scene.
Yes. But I think
and a real driving force of that.
Yeah, but to the point where writing a song where you're essentially mocking the other people going, oh, we're really cool kids and like you're never going to be a part of our club, etc.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But also maybe it's because...
Is he saying the cool kids are the bands that have sold out, or is he saying the cool kids are the bands that are still part of the scene, but he still feels ostracized from like the scene itself that's remained underground?
I don't know, but I can tell you what I thought it was, and I thought it was the latter. I thought it was that they still didn't feel like they fit into the cool underground kids. We want to kick everybody out who's signed to a major. Maybe also because he was probably friends with bands that signed to labels, and he... I mean, that's not the book. That's you hear in that about him talking about bands that signed to labels, etc. He never was like, I mean, I could be misremembering this, but I don't think he was very much like a naysayer about people signing to majors. Maybe he was like, I'm happy for my bands, and now because I'm associated with this crowd, I don't feel I'm stuck between two because I don't want to associate with the people hating them for their decision. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. That might
for some reason, I got the impression he was more an outspoken. Anti-sellout, quote unquote.
Okay, yep.
Person. Like he was very much.
What I meant to say was that I'm not sure exactly what his stance on label stuff were, but I was thinking that his ties might have been to the people. Like he's friends with the people going,
yes.
I may not fully agree with their decision, but I like them as people and I'm happy for them that they've done something, but I don't like how they got there. I don't know.
And it's interesting you make that point because I think, I might be mistaking the person that is being referred to, but I think in one of the chapters of Sellout, one of the bands, and I can't remember, it's the Jawbreaker chapter, I think it's a different band, was saying that when their album was coming out, they spoke to Ben Weasel and because they were mates. And he was like, I'm going to have to take you to task he was writing for Maximum Rock and Roll, I think at the time, which was that underground like scene magazine about the punk rock scene. He's like, I'm going to have to take you to task about the fact you sold out. And this bloke from this band, and I can't remember which band it was. He was like, yeah, look, I understand. But they were still mates.
Yeah.
So he was still friendly with them.
That's the vibe I was getting. But
Yes.
I couldn't remember where his stance was on labels. But saying that, I was like, I'm pretty sure because that's what he said about Jawbreaker. They're never going to sign, but it was like a trust me, not like that's just my prediction. So I thought he was against label signings, but he seemed to be a likable guy that everyone got along with. Like he didn't seem like he was a super controversial figure.
Well, I don't know about that. I thought he became, maybe it was like as he got a bit older, he became a bit more divisive. Because if you read in this bit that came from genius.com, they're talking about some songs that he wrote, like there's Grumpy Cat, which I think might be a reference to him. But then there's also a song called Grinch, which was a song by the Queers, who he recorded.
Yeah, right.
And
was that later?
I think it might be later.
Oh, okay, right.
But it's like, the lyrics are quite funny, and it's like basically like calling him an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like in on it a little bit because he was like recording the album. I think he had a reputation for being a bit of a curmudgeonly old prick.
Curmudgeonly? Right?
Is that
we hear new words on the podcast all the time. What's that mean?
Like old and grumpy?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Curmudgeonly.
Yeah. I might have to check that I've not made up a word.
Like quaff. I actually heard someone say quaff one time on TV, and I think I've heard.
Won.
Well, maybe you're just both idiots. That's funny. So I also, when you said before about flirting with a flame for this, my first note that I have here is that's Sam's wet dream intro.
Yes.
The palm muted chugging guitar straight into the chorus.
Yep. And I wrote that, you know how much I love palm muted guitar with vocals to start a song.
That's right.
It's so cool.
It's got that 50s rock and roll, like surfboard influence, like surf rock influenced, especially with the tambourine and the staccato organ. Like
over like the 12 bar blues progression.
Yeah. It just reminds me of like 50s American culture.
Yes.
Which I don't know. I have no point of reference because I didn't live through that era. I also don't have any points of reference of, you say bands like the Beach Boys, but then you listen to the Beach Boys, they don't sound like that. It's just surf rock.
It's a sound.
It's just a surf rock sound. Yeah. But my last note I have here is that I love the meaning of this song. It just elevates the song so much knowing it, but also hearing about their perspective on the industry. I was like, I feel like I know so much about this now. I remember on the Dookie episode you were talking about it, and I was like, this is all new to me.
Yeah.
But after reading Sellout and having our discussions and what we've picked up along the way, I was like, wow, I actually feel like I've that stuff. Also, talking about funny words.
It is
just quickly, Fleeta Musketeers. I'm like, that's a first that we've ever seen in a song.
Yes. I have no idea what that's a reference to. We don't know that that's exactly what he's referring to. Like, this is someone speculating about what the meaning behind
is it?
And it's probably right. Well, it's someone on Genius.
Pretty obvious analogy.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It's Genius. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes the Genius, I'm having a shocker today. It's like 3 things I've said that you've made like, I don't know about that. But the Genius, a lot of times it can be the artist interviews. Like, through Genius, this is what the artist has said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is someone speculating about what the song meaning is.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was interesting as well. The song doesn't really have a chorus.
Yeah.
It's got that repeating vocal hook of
Real Cool Club and you're not a part of it.
Yeah, but no particular chorus. And I feel like this is like the song. I know they weren't they were an indie band, so they weren't going to have singles, but this would be your single.
Oh, 100% this would be a single. But I was surprised to see at the start of the document it said there were no
I don't think
singles.
there were any.
Yeah, it's crazy. This is absolutely the single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Maybe Get Off My Back. That'd be a good song for like a movie soundtrack, like in a teen movie or something. It's got that kind of vibe to it.
Yes. All right. The First Day of Summer. What'd you give it?
I gave this one a great as well.
Ooh, I said Crown for this one.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. I think this is like one of the best like summer anthems.
It's very summery.
Yeah,
and it's called First Day of Summer.
It's called First Day of Summer, and the song is about the first day of summer and like not wanting to basically seize every day of summer. But still, it's so like it evokes such a feeling of summer. I think when it hits that like pre-chorus.
That's 100%. I was preparing to say that as my note.
Okay.
I said, come on now, it's the first day of summer. Please don't let it slip by. Just try to squeeze all the life out of it. I said, it's so nostalgic for some reason, that chord progression. I think many local bands in the early 2000s tried to sound like that. Yeah. But I think that just, to me, I was like, that takes me back to being like 15.
Yes.
Like, it's so nostalgic.
Yep.
And I have no nostalgic attachment to this song, so it was a strange emotion to feel.
But it's so evocative of the feeling of summer.
100%.
And it's interesting that the song, it starts out sounding more minor. But then when it gets that pre-chorus, it changes. I don't know whether it's actually a key change.
Because it's coming out of spring into summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know why my brain did it backwards then? I had the right one and then I was like, but it's America, so their seasons are backwards. They go from autumn into summer. That doesn't make any sense. I said, I do love how this album has kept the same energy this far. Like from the start, it's just energy.
Yes.
I said, I bet this album was the background to so many teenagers' bedrooms in the 90s for that reason.
Oh,
Like it just is a vibe that you'd put on and it would just keep you in that vibe.
Yep.
Just a really, really sets the vibe and then keeps up with it really well.
And speaking of Summer Anthem, did you notice that there's like a chord change, which is basically like straight out of the rock show?
No?
It's like right at the end of the chorus.
All
You should
right.
listen to it now.
Oh yeah. It's very, it's like a Ramones-esque.
It is.
The
I mean, it's
four,
all
then the
1, 4,
5,
5.
yeah. But it's very cool. Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think it's great, personally.
Yep.
But I think it's a good song.
I think it's a banger. I think it's a crown.
I can get it. I can get that. But I think, I talked about before about the vocals being an acquired taste. I don't think the result of that is just black or white. I love it or I hate it. I think there is like a gray area. And I think I'm sitting in the gray area where perhaps I get a few debuff points of like, it's not fully a crown for me because I don't love it.
Yeah, cool.
But I do really like it.
Yep.
Alrighty. So you'll be in my dreams today. Would you give this one?
I said great.
I said good for this one.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we have separated, but we're still kind of close.
I'm sitting like one rating ahead.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I said I just love how the songs just explode in. Just they're there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's no slow build. There's no. It's
They
just,
don't waste any time.
no, they're straight to it.
Yeah.
Still so much energy. I can only imagine how upbeat their live set would be. Like especially around this time, it would just be all right. Straight into the next song. Straight into the next song. It's just setting a vibe and loving it.
I feel like you can hear the influence that these guys have had on other bands in this song. Like this feels to me like the quintessential like pop punk song.
Yes.
Even like a chorus that repeats the line, "You'll be in my dreams today." Like it's got that pop sentimentality with like punk rock energy.
I think you said chorus and a pizza line. And I was like, a pizza line? But
repeats the line, sorry.
Yeah. People always talk about like the whole, I remember there was content out in like 2015, like kind of mocking and ripping off pop punk, being like, I hate my town and I just love pizza and my girlfriend or whatever. But I don't really know many bands that sing about pizza or hometowns or whatever. I don't know where that really comes from. Maybe
the hometown bit.
Yeah, but I guess that must be more like modern pop punk because when we were younger, it's not always singing about leaving your hometown.
Yeah.
That wasn't that common.
I know we said a bit about that in the Yellow Card episode.
Yeah, there was a little bit, but not enough for me to think that would be the defining feature that I'd put in a piece of satire content.
But like unashamed romantic expressions about your girlfriend is a very pop punk thing.
Absolutely
like,
it is. Yeah. It didn't start with, but it started with JC.
Well, it started on the Ramones album. They've got.
Oh yeah, true. It's really
how
funny.
How many songs
actually.
have they got that are like it's a love song?
Just love songs. Yeah. I had it on in the car the other day, and Julia loves to try to like the music that I like, and I had it on, and Blitzkrieg Bop started the album, and she's like, I know this one. And when I was listening to the Screeching Weasel album, I was skipping through it, and it came up to the track "I Want to Be Your Boyfriend." And she starts singing along with it straight away because she remembers it from in the car. It's so easy to remember because it's so easy to learn.
Yeah.
But I was like, it is that catchy that my 7-year-old daughter knows the Ramones. I said, honestly, you might find this a little bit of a hate take, but I said it's borderline fine energy, but the energy saves it.
Oh,
like
really?
it's borderline, like just the drony vocals. That to me just gets, that's fine. But the energy of the song saves it.
Yes.
I thought that the bridge was gross. The lyrics in the bridge? He said, it's a love song, right? And he said, I'll run my yellow fingers through your yellow hair. My yellow teeth will pull off your underwear. Those shredded fishnet stockings make me remember the way you, I bleep stuff anyway, and you'll be in my dreams today. And I'm like, what the fuck? Gross. Yuck. A gross love song. It's like this filthy, gross
it's like
love song.
they're both like punks and they're like smoke cigarettes. And
the yellow fingers is like cigarette stuff. But the idea of like my yellow teeth, just gross.
No, I love it. I love the change in the third, I think it's the third verse. So it might be, it's not really the bridge. I think it's like the third verse.
Okay.
It goes back to like a quieter, like palm muted section.
Oh, yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
The melody changes up just a little bit, kind of adds just like a little bit of texture to it.
Which is not Ramones-esque. Ramones-esque is just sit a vibe and just stay on it. So that's them doing their thing.
And it kind of breaks out of the 1-4-5 thing and it adds in like the 6th chord. And so it just kind of like just changes the feel a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. So they know what they're doing. They're figuring it out.
They'll get there.
They've figured it out. I mean.
All right. You blister my paint, baby. What'd you give it?
I got a vibe. We're going to be far apart on this one.
Oh, no. No.
Can I guess what you gave it?
Yeah.
Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave it a fine.
A fine?
Yeah. The reason I know you gave it a crown was because this is one of the albums that we tested the rating system on years ago. I don't know if you remember that. And when we were doing, we never discussed it to this level or listened to it that much. We gave like vibe votes of like, this has this vibe. Yeah. And you had it as a crown. And as soon as I said there might be a gap here, I was like, and you reacted that way as, he's still rated.
I didn't go back and look at what I rated it last time. I thought perhaps this might have been one that I rated low last time. Not this song rather, but this album when we did it originally.
No, I mean, I know what you rated it. I had a little marker above the ratings to see, like, to know where you have rated it, just to see if you're close. And you pretty much bang on. Like, one was a great, one was a good. So you're consistent with your ratings.
Oh,
even with the vibe guesses.
It's like you're checking my work.
Yeah. I just wanted to see. It's just peculiar. I do it for me as well. Like that's what I've said's got me into trouble, I think, because it's anchored me at like, I gave it a great. And it's not a great, it's a good. But maybe I would have given it a fine for some songs on certain albums.
I just disregard my previous ratings.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've said it before. Like these things,
I just like data.
Depending on the feeling
and emotions.
You do like analyzing data.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just love this song. It's a little bit slower tempo. There's a different vibe. It's got like a melancholic type feeling to it.
Yeah.
I love the way the melody moves. Like in that chorus bit where he's going, what is he saying? He's saying up and down, and the melody moves up and down with the lyrics. I just love it. It's really well constructed.
My notes, on the other hand, really don't like the vocals in the verse in this one. Next note. And the pre-chorus. So whingy. Good energy, but it just feels whingy.
It is whingy.
Yeah.
And it's got a bit of a repetitiveness, which I think would great if you found it whingy. Like,
yeah.
I can see
this song would be hard to listen to if I said in the beginning, if it's not your thing, it'd be a skippable one.
I can completely see that. Something about the energy of this song grabs me and I really like it.
Yeah. Isn't it so strange that the 90s were about such interesting voices? Like, it seemed to be that era was all about trying to capture the uniqueness in people's voices and giving them a sense of unique character. Like, as in pushing their sense of personalized sound. So it was kind of defining. People could do comedy sets where they do impressions of specific, impersonate certain singers, and they could get that tone, like Britney Spears. Even The Offspring had like a very defined sound. Yep. Again, this is probably why this album did pretty well, is because it sounded so different. But now, as time has shifted, it's almost become like more so to try to create like a universal kind of voice that everyone kind of fits into. I just think that a lot of pop singers sound the same now. They don't have an acquired taste. It's like actors and in movies and actresses, they have like I saw a post about how they never had perfect teeth and the girls looked different and guys looked different. But now it's like everyone has veneers and everyone has the same blonde hair and the same type or the same brown hair, like same haircut. And everyone tries to look the same because it's like they've created this universal standard of like beauty or vocal sound or whatever. And people try to all aspire to that. People like emulate each other, but then the general cloud of what is acceptable just shifts as everyone tries to get each other and progress over time together. But back in the day, like everyone had unique sounding voices. And this is a really unique voice and it works for the era. Maybe that's why it doesn't, when I say age well, I don't mean as in saying it's not as good as it is now, but maybe culture now may find it harder to listen to because it is so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never really thought of that as being a 90s thing.
It was, because you had Christina Aguilera, you had Britney Spears, you had like, I mean, even like Vanessa Amorosi, like Pink, all these like, I'm thinking about pop singers here, but like they all had like a unique sound. Enrique Iglesias, like I'm thinking Ricky Martin, any of these singers had like a defining sound of their voice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like you could put on a song these days and it could be any singer, but I mean, you have people like Billie Eilish, like she has quite a defining voice. But there's other singers too, when you hear them, you can be quite confused as to who specifically that is.
Yeah, sure.
But there was no questioning it in the 90s, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Alrighty, so Stupid Girl, would you give this one?
I said great.
Okay, I said good.
Okay.
So we're pretty close on this.
Yeah, right.
I'm almost just like slightly under.
Interesting. I've obviously enjoyed this album a lot more than you, though.
Not a lot more. It's just a little bit. Just the last
just
one
like
had a bit of a gap.
One notch more.
Sure.
My first note for this is The Rock Show, ?
Oh, yeah, definitely sounds like The Rock Show. I just wrote more energy. Like we're back to more energy again. Yep. I mean, not really back because I feel like it lost a bit of energy last time, but it still had high energy. Yep. Like that we haven't, I'm not saying you can't do a slow song because some slow songs still have really, the energy still high.
Yes.
Example of that would be On My Own by The Used. It's a soft song, but the energy's so intense that it still feels like the energy's up. So it's not, energy does not always equate with loudness, I don't think.
Yeah.
But this.
Or tempo necessarily.
Yeah, exactly. But it has to, I mean, this, I think, obtains a lot of its energy from the loudness, I guess, and the mid-tempo that it's at. Well, it's a faster tempo, but like fast tempo.
Yeah.
But I said this one has a lot of energy. I said it's so Ramones, like sounding, it sounds like them, but with modern production. Like it sounds like the Ramones, like this song. Yeah.
That drivey beat.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the ending of this song reminds me of the last song of Grease. The movie, you know, chang, 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 the tank, the vote. That's the way. Yeah, this is what this reminded me of.
The lyrics or the
vibe? It just has that 50s kind of American rock and roll kind of sound to it.
Yeah, right.
And it just reminded me of Grease.
Yeah, wow.
Which is so strange, but that's the sound I got from it.
But the earlier song, Cool Kids didn't? Different sort of 50s vibe?
Yeah, no. This one specifically, like something musically in it.
Type?
A little bit. This reminded me of I'm like a doo-wop connoisseur. I listen to so much of it. I think that it's just something like in it. It was almost like my brain went to sing that as the next bit. Like it sounded a lot like the song.
I feel like it's such a pop punk trope to like have a song where you're picking on the girl for like 90% of it, and at the end you're picking on her because she should actually be with you and not this douchebag that she's actually with.
That's probably the start of the emo movement.
Well, yeah,
like your favorite weapon, Take Back Sunday kind of vibe.
Yeah,
but then that just
hasn't aged all that well.
Absolute like hate comments, like hate lyrics about people.
It's kind of weird though. At the time when we were listening to that, it didn't feel that way. But now looking back, I'm like, whoa, that has not aged well.
I don't think you had the perspective as a teenager to think outside of yourself, and all you saw was your emotions. And you were like, I can be angry and bitter and I don't care because they're happier without me anyway. But you don't see that like you are just being awful to another human being.
Yes.
And that's where you get the perspective as you're older. But and to realize that you're being awful to another human being is to put your own feelings aside, which is hard to do when you're a teenager.
True.
So you're just like, yeah, exactly. I wish you were with me instead. So pathetic. Isn't it? It's such a pathetic perspective to be like, a girl breaks up with you and you're like, I'm going to go to write a song about this. That we all did. Like, that's just what it was. No, but you're better off with me. But I'm presumably going to treat you like crap because I consider you to be a stupid girl.
Yeah.
I don't know, weird. Maybe I'm just getting older now and I have a daughter, but I'm like, that just makes me feel uncomfortable. Like someone talking to someone like that.
Well, it does. Like when he's calling us stupid over and over again. Like nowadays, you look at that and you're like, oh,
exactly.
That feels gross.
But I don't know if I'm just being soft. But I mean, then again, what would the opposite be? Be okay with treating anybody like that? You know what I mean? I'm not okay with that.
I think this song, similar to like, I can't remember, I said this about another song as well. Like you can hear the influence that these guys have had on other bands later on. Like this is such a blueprint pop punk song.
Yeah.
Like the theme of the song, but then also like there's something about the structure of the song and the way the chords move. And there's like the whoa vocals. Like this is like a pop punk.
But I didn't actually think about it until you said it. I can now see that influencing the early, what it became splintered off as emo pop punk or emo.
I didn't even think about it as that. I more just thought about it as like some of the 2000s pop punk before it got into the emo.
Right.
Not so much the theme of the song, but just like the musicality of it.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the theme of the song.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's my point then, and I made a great point.
You made a great point.
Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Phases on Kill.
Yes.
What'd you give it?
I gave this one a crown.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I said good for this one.
I don't understand that because that is, I'm grading you here. That's what you gave it last time, and I didn't understand it then either.
Did I say good as well?
Yeah, you said good as well.
I'm glad I'm consistent.
But it's so catchy, and it's like so, it's super upbeat, catchy. It's got a sick bridge. Everything's real good.
Look, I think it's good. I think it definitely stands out.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds like this is the song which is kind of like seems to me to be the most shameless Ramones ripoff.
Oh, okay.
In a way, because I feel like there's even a song which thematically is similar to this on the Ramones album about an alien.
Right. I've got that award to give out for a later song.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really my only like negative comment. I did say I love the bridge, the backing vocals with that really weird kind of guitar, like the really distorted fuzzy kind of guitar.
Which is so loud in the mix. Like with the bridge part where it has the phases to kill and then the that's so loud.
Yes.
Like I was like, that seems too loud in the mix.
Yeah. But obviously intentionally so though.
Yeah, because it's the phases.
I don't think it's bad. Like I like the song. It just, I don't know.
I also thought it was called Phases to Kill. I've not really paid it. You called it Phases on Kill, which is what it's called.
Oh. Okay.
So I've just have misread so much. I've skim read so much stuff. I think because it reminds me of Set Phases to Stun by Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah.
So funny. I wrote, so annoyed and sick of people, he's enlisting the powers of intergalactic travelers because he said, go set the phases on kill because I don't love her anymore. So it's like calling down aliens to be like, I don't love her anymore, so kill everybody. Yeah. It's so strange. I said, I love this one. The energy, the lyrics, the theme, everything. That bridge of the phases with the harmonies is just sick. Yeah. It's like a jingle or like an intro for a TV show or something. It sets that kind of like fun, upbeat vibe.
Yep.
It's so happy and fun. I didn't hear this
as
derivative.
I didn't see it as happy and fun.
What?
I didn't hear it as happy and fun.
To me, it's just an upbeat, happy pop song with like darker lyrics, but that was pretty typical of this genre at times. Yeah. But no, to me, it's just like a really catchy, fun, like banging song. So that's why I gave it a crown.
How good is the last, well, not how good, but how full on is the last lyric? Take the safety off and go disintegrate that creep. That is dark.
Yeah, but the aliens still have safeties on their weapon.
Yeah.
Like that's funny. But no, exactly. But again, like really well said. And that's what I feel like his lyrics are on this album. They're entertaining to listen to. They're not overly cryptic. They're not something you have to try to decipher. They're not I don't want to say cringely, but like as in like where people try too hard to be poetic and it's like they're just being overly poetic. It's not sickly poetic like that. It's also just kind of to the point about how he feels. He's obviously frustrated at people and this is his outlet to push through this, push his hatred through this music. Alrighty, so Handcuffed to You.
I said great.
Great? I said good.
Okay.
Whatever you say, I'll just, sure, I'm one under that. I should just called you. Saves. I don't have another range. Just tell me.
Well, you've got my answers.
Last time you said good for this one.
Oh, did I?
So you've gone up.
Yeah. This has MXPX all over it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's very MXPX, this one.
Yeah.
It's, again, just bang straight in, like come straight in.
Yes.
With the energy. It's a great theme of this song about tricking yourself into a relationship. Like I really liked the theme of this
I wanted to talk to you about that. Like what is, the first line is something about magic trick gone wrong.
Yeah.
And then he's handcuffed. So you're saying it's a metaphor for him tricking himself into thinking that this was the right person.
Maybe, or it could be like, I'm not putting this on him or whatever, but like as a possibility, it could be something like he just tried to pick up the girl and ended up in a relationship with him, like as a trick that he tried to like play her to sleep with her and then it ended up somehow in a relationship with her. I don't know exactly. It could be that he thought that he tricked her into a relationship somehow and then he's realized that he's handcuffed to her now. But I said that first line was an amazing lyric. It's been so long since that magic trick went wrong and chained me to you and I want to get out.
Yeah.
Like I was like, that's interesting from the beginning of like, what a cool.
This is such an inventive idea for a song.
Inventive. That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because the other part says, I'm tired of trying to write with my left hand. Like it's so literal of what it would be to be handcuffed with someone, but it's metaphorical in the sense of what that would mean. Yeah. And I'm tired of getting whiffs of your bad breath. And I'm tired of of being this close to you when you've got PMS, but you know it's okay. So let's make the best of it and ask your mum to send a hacksaw and a cake. I forgot to say that before with the Ramones album that they covered. I wonder if they actually used a real chainsaw. Remember that was a criticism that people had that it's actually a bandsaw. Exactly. This isn't pop punk, by the way. It's actually a bandsaw as well. That same crowd. It's just their offspring passed them down. Now the Ramones album, they've got their children banging on about us, things to us now. Linoleum has never been pop punk. People will never have called it pop punk ever. I've surveyed the entire world and none of them said that Linoleum was pop punk. So it feels like. But I said this is a legit crown tier theme, I think.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And I love that like it pivots a little bit and it ends up being like, this is actually not the worst thing in the world. It's actually kind of good that I'm changing you. It's like he's got complex feelings.
The whole album's like bitter love.
Yep.
Like I'm bitter that you're with someone else, but I still love you. Or I'm with you and I'm bitter that I'm with you, but I still love you. Like it's
He's like, pretty soon we'll get a chance to make our break and we'll smile and say goodbye and then we'll go our separate ways. But for now, it's okay. Handcuffed to you. Yeah. It's all right because I'm handcuffed to you. Like
he sees the inevitable demise of the relationship coming eventually.
Yes.
But he's like, for now, you know what? It's not that bad. I'll enjoy the time I have with you because I know we're not going to be together forever. Yeah. Like really strange. But also handcuffed to you is like, typically people say like handcuffing would be something like getting married or having a kid or something. But like I think he just feels like maybe because he doesn't have the guts to break up with it yet. Like I'm making this up of what the potential possibilities. But I loved the theme of this one.
Yes.
That's not that the delivery was bad. It was good. But I just think that theme-wise, I mean, I don't think themes are often enough to carry it up ratings, but I think that it was good.
But it can turn a song that's otherwise not that interesting into an interesting song.
Yeah, especially in songs like, this is funny because I actually gave it a fine, Watch the World by Boxcar Racer, where the production's a lot simpler and it really draws you into the lyrics.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's where.
And musically, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on. Yeah. Yeah. But the MXPX thing, it's got that like melancholic tinge that that MXPX songs have. Like it's that sort of vibe. I really like it.
Yeah, I think it was good. I mean, I think good's the perfect word for this, to be honest.
Well, for me, it's great. But anyway. All right. This is going to be the one that you think is the most shameless Ramones.
I was like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, if I get in before him, I won't let him hear the end of it. You are right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's She Got Electroshocked.
Yep.
What'd you give it?
I gave this one a great.
Me too. Oh, we're back on.
You gave this a fine last time. And this is the one I wanted to nitpick. It was like, if you give this a fine again, how could you give this a fine? It's a great song.
Give it a fine.
Yeah. Maybe just didn't. Or you were just defending Ramones. Then you're just like, cannot believe that this is so close. Yeah, I said this is so modern continuation of the Ramones. So much so that I kind of didn't. It sat with me of like, this doesn't feel right for me to just say, oh, it sounds like the Ramones. There was a part of me going, is this actually not like a cover, but to the point where it's like plagiarismly close, like of the Ramones. Okay. So I Googled it.
It's just interesting that you say that because there were other songs that jumped out at me about as being Ramones sounding. This one actually didn't jump out.
We've got different Ramones alarms going off.
So what was it though that makes you think of the Ramones in this song?
Just the whole concept of electroshock therapy.
Oh,
and
okay.
so I Googled it, and Ramones have a song, Gimme Gimme, that shock treatment. So that's
Right.
where I'm hearing it, of like, Ramones had something to do with electroshock therapy.
Was it off that self-titled, the first album?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, good.
It's off the
Because
later
I don't
album.
remember having heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also, if you're going to guess it for me about like, this is the Ramones song, and you are correct, maybe I'll be correct here. I said it's a great bridge. Sam will like the chords.
I say that.
No, I don't know, but I'm saying that you might. You'll see if you tell me if you do. But
Sure.
I don't know that you said it. You didn't say it last time. But the weird chords in the bridge.
I didn't make that note. I don't remember them. Can we put them on?
Yeah.
I mean, I like them, but then, yeah, interesting.
They sound like the kind of chords that you, if I played them on guitar, you'd be like, that's cool. Do that again.
They make me think of Melancholy.
Yeah, I was trying to think, what's the band that it sounds like? Yeah, very
Is it
Melancholy.
like a No Cigar? There's a song that has a very similar. I don't know.
It might be No Cigar, to be honest.
It definitely stands out from the rest of this album.
Yeah.
Those chords for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Another really inventive idea for a song about a girl getting electroshock therapy, but like the way
I think it sounds like the Ramones. So you're preaching to the non-choir here.
but the lyrics are so funny because he keeps
Yeah.
building on, like the voltage increases, but he's
Oh,
so
yeah.
deadpan. He's like, what does he say?
Oh, yeah, he's like, she got electrical therapy, 100 million volts. Like, this starts at 50,000 volts. He keeps going up. I didn't notice that. Then he's going up in the.
yeah. So it keeps going up, but then his response is like 20 million volts. And hey, what do you know? It was a bit of a jolt. Like he's so
Yeah,
deadpan
bit of a
and
jolt.
underplays how like the effect it had on her.
That's
I thought
so
it was
funny.
really funny.
80 billion volts, way out of control. And when you know, it wasn't much of a joke.
Wasn't much of a joke. Like,
That's funny. I didn't
Yeah.
even think of that. I still gave it a grade. So it's not
oh,
like
yeah,
I'm playing it down.
okay, yeah, sure.
But I never picked that up. That's really funny. It
Yeah.
just keeps increasing the volts. Like some deadpan, like out of touch researcher who's just completely desensitized to treating
Yeah.
patients or.
And you know what's interesting about it is that that's such an Australian way to describe something as well. Like
What do you mean?
to really undersell something
Oh, yeah.
in a really
bit of a
deadpan.
jolt. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Curmudgeonly. I need to check that is actually a word now. Greg, can you look that up for me?
He doesn't know that. But it's basic English. He has a 145 English vocabulary. Oh, what a niche joke. What a niche joke. All right, so track 10.
Love that.
It's not enough. What'd you give this song?
I said good.
I said fine for this one. You said
Fine.
good last time too.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teacher.
I don't like this that you've got.
Yeah, are you consistent?
I am, well, except for the one where I went from a fine to a great.
True.
I wonder why I changed so much. Anyway.
I don't, maybe honestly, this is the thing. We can't hold ourselves. That's why I don't even really mention him if we've ever done it before, because one, I feel like it takes it away from like the excitement of us rating it. It may as well be that we're listening to it. Unless we say we really like this album or know it really well, like chances are we haven't listened to it that much.
Correct.
But also this is the thing is that if I tell our other ratings, we might have listened to the song once while we were distracted and not gave it full
Yes.
attention, didn't write any notes down. We just like, that was good, but we might have been distracted with our kids or something. And
Yep.
Millencolin it. That's what we talked about, right?
Millencolin it, yeah.
Yeah, so that probably is the most, plausible answer of why that would be.
Yep.
But I think it's fine. So it's just a bit of a nothing song, really. That's the way I felt about it.
It is. The thing that changed it for me was the lyrics. That, like, these are really deep.
Okay.
Like, they're pretty heavy lyrics. Given that, thematically throughout most of the album, it's fairly light on.
What?
Well, like,
He's talking about eradicating humans and hating people in a cool club he doesn't fit in. He wants to handcuff to a girl with bad breath.
But the, like, eradicating
girl.
people was, like,
It's all right.
tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
Ironic, whereas this one is like a,
Like a genuine.
this is,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
this doesn't have that. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's not that there aren't deeper songs on the album. It's that the deeper songs are generally expressed in an ironic tongue in cheek kind of way. Whereas this one is like very,
Adam Song-esque, lyrically.
it is.
Yeah.
And having read that he had mental health issues meant that for me, like, it's obviously like it's a very personal song.
I feel so bad about my notes now because I've made so many
Shit.
jokes about this song.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I said, I guess you would say that the song is not enough because the song's called It's Not Enough. I said, does that make it great? Is he visionary then? This song's not enough. It's like, it isn't enough.
Look, one of my notes is musically it's a bit boring.
Yeah.
Like it's dull and repetitive.
He says in the bridge, but I'll be fine someday. And I wrote, that day was today. He called it because I gave it a fine.
Shit, man.
Just completely, that's so sad. He's like, I didn't realize the lyrics. I didn't connect with anything.
As soon as when I was like preparing the document, I was reading them. I was quite affected by them because it's like
they are sad. Now I feel bad.
Yeah. Because it's like expressing that feeling of like, why does every day feel like this? And
Yeah.
it's not getting any better. And I thought it was really good.
Do you know, it's probably because I've been so conditioned through the previous parts of this album with such a high level of energy that as soon as it gets taken away, I'm like, I've lost my interest. And I think that I'm like, I kind of just was just doodling essentially while I was waiting to move on.
He doesn't sell it. Like he hasn't paired these really good lyrics. Well, it's not that they're particularly good lyrics, but hasn't paired these really deep lyrics with like an interesting song musically.
Like, talk about Adam's song. Like that musically is beautiful and is so powerful.
Yes.
Like that's why that song is flame-worthy, really, because of the fact that it's so hard-hitting with music that matches.
Yes.
It's almost like it might have been like he had these written in a journal and had a song and he put the lyrics to the song rather than writing the song.
It feels like a journal.
Yeah.
I know with the way we put them in this document, they're written out not like line by line in terms of a lyric. It's more written in prose form, I guess you would say. But and that makes it feel like more of a journal. But the lyrics themselves,
very what's the word? Diaristic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I do, the most like musically interesting component of it is that in the bridge, I think it changes, and he's talking about "I'll be fine someday," and that's like musically the most bright, upbeat part of the song.
Again, like Adam's song where it lifts up in the end.
Yeah. And so it's like the mood of the song is kind of matching the mood and the lyrics.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was interesting that it ends on the negative. And because I thought about Adam's song, which ends in a positive sense. It ends in that kind of more brighter feeling.
Yeah.
This one starts going bright and then it ends. What's the lyric at the end?
Give up, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tonally, like it starts getting dark again at the end. Which
That's really dark because it's not like you could even say, I know I'll be fine one day, but I'm still stuck in the pits till then. He's like, I know I'll be fine one day, but I don't even know if I'll get to that day because I just need to give up. Like that's really heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And musically, he does carry that through. So I thought that's why I guess why I gave it a good. I thought
it's an unexpectedly really deep song for such a. I mean, otherwise, love kind of bitter kind of relationship album. Then again, I was like, that's surprising. It's not surprising because the lyrics they're not just silly, nonsensical kind of fun, upbeat pop songs. They have some bitterness and like some depth to the lyrics. So, I mean, maybe he's just sneakily been emotional the whole time and I haven't really connected.
Yep. I will always be there. What'd you give it?
I gave it a good.
Me too.
Yeah, sweet. I thought I was going to give it more because, you're talking about songs that you love, starting with palm muted and choruses or like melodic singing. D-beats straight in.
It's got the D-beats.
Got me going. Made me happy immediately.
Yeah.
I said I love the verses so much. The verse chords, the way that the chords move in the verse is like my favorite, like on the whole album.
Okay.
Like, so I was like, this is going to be so sick.
Yes.
And I was like, this might be another crown, potentially a flame, because I just love it from start to verse is where I loved it.
I love it from start to verse.
But the chorus is really kind of average. And I think it kind of kills the energy.
Yeah.
And because the song has so much chorus and the good parts are so much smaller, I couldn't bring myself to even do the thing where I go, crown this, but good this, I'll meet it a great. I was like, it's mostly the stuff I don't like that much. It doesn't have a lot of the stuff I do love. Like
the chorus is catchy and melodic, but I agree, it's not super interesting, is it?
No,
like
it's just really stretched out, and it feels like they could have I don't know, it feels like they've taken a line and just dragged it out to make it work over the whole chorus when they could have made it at the start and then done something more.
And it just repeats that one line, doesn't it? I'll always be there.
Yeah. It just feels, I don't know, after such solid verses that it could have had a faster chorus that matched that.
Yeah.
Had kept the energy up, but
ultimately though, I just thought it was like, it's a fun, upbeat, 4-chord pop song.
If there was less of the chorus in this song, if they didn't lean on it so much, I would take it up a rating at least.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Really strange note I have here at the end. The last chord of this whole song, the way it just hits the last chord, it's not even worth showing you.
Okay.
Maybe I can, but it's the last bring out chord sounds to me like the Untitled Blink album. Like it sounds like you've taken a second. I'll show you it.
Yeah.
Maybe I could show it on the podcast because I doubt we're going to get Stroken for just like a single chord.
Stroken.
But it sounds so much like it.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
That minor. Yeah. What's that song? What is the song that I'm thinking of the Untitled?
It's obvious, isn't it? Because then I can hear Miss You coming in.
Yeah, you're right. It's the minor. There's a minor note in that chord.
Yes.
And you're right. And that's it. It's obvious. That's what it's reminding me of.
Yeah.
Such a random note, but I'm glad that we actually figured that out. That's rad. Alrighty, so last track. Your name is tattooed on my heart. What did you give this one?
I said fine.
I give it a fine as well.
Yeah.
Can I say it one more time? You gave us a good last time. So
I've
come down on that one if you're interested.
My note is, this is a flaccid way to end the album.
That is a really good way a really good way of putting it.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, flaccid is the right term, especially after being so erect through the rest of the album, if we can stand on the metaphor.
This album has so much energy, and it's another one. It's not dissimilar for me to what was the Melancholy album that we love?
Penny Bridge Pioneers.
Yeah, where it's just like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah,
Each
yeah.
song has something about it that really grabs you.
Yes.
And each song's got some energy to it. This song's maybe got one other song that brings the energy down a bit, but for the most part, as you said before, there's a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then this, it just like lets it all go. And then this is, it's a long
It's like a deflating
song.
balloon. Yeah. I just kept saying like this. I was asking myself, where is this song going? But my note was, this song goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere.
Yeah, it goes nowhere. I was like, surely in the last they build it up in the last quarter of the song might be really big, or last third. No, it just keeps the same down thing. I said it could have been a way better song with some dynamics. I said maybe it sounded like a better idea on paper. The idea of to finish the album, we'll have just do a drum thing on the toms, and it's all about the vocals and me finishing the song up.
Yeah.
I said, then again, I guess it's a cool wrap-up song, I guess. I was trying to see it, but I was like, it's a fine. That was my ultimate thought. I was like, is it just because it's wrapping up the entire album? Goes nowhere. In saying that, vocally, it reminded, and the way the vocals were recorded, the sound of the vocals reminded me of Your Favorite Weapon. Like how they have those, almost like recorded in the shower kind of vocal sounds. It just reminded me a bit of No Seatbelt Song by Brand New. Yeah.
Yep.
Those songs, which is so strange because it doesn't really sound like, but it just reminded me of that a bit. But I guess I was just trying to think of anything else because I was just bored.
I do like the way the melody moves in the chorus.
Yeah.
I did like that, but then it didn't, because it didn't go anywhere. I was just left with this empty feeling at the end of it.
If it had dynamics, it would be a good song, I think.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's not bad. There's nothing that made me go, that's actually a bad song. I was like, it's just...
That's right. I did think to myself, is this bad? But I was like, no, it's not bad.
I thought it was is this potentially a bad song on this album? But no.
Because it's kind of repetitive, and then it just fades out. Like there's not even...
it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
I just kept being like, okay, surely my notes are going to be that part in the end where they went loud and they did someone, they should have brought that in earlier, but then it just faded out. And I was like, well, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So what was your average score?
So my ratings for this album in total was, with all of that, with such a flat ending, for some reason I thought I'd rate it lower than it ended up coming out. I gave this a 4.33.
4.33.
Yeah.
Okay. I said 4.83.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's pretty high.
It is quite
Let's
high.
get our boards.
Yeah.
We need to fill people in. Oh, man. I'm so sorry to everyone, by the way. I realized, as I said earlier in the episode, just before Sam got here to record, I was like, I haven't done Ocean Avenue for this board. And sometimes I think the universe is against me. I found out that playing the podcast back, I told you this when you came in, because you're like, how are you? I'm like, angry. The episode cuts out in Ocean Avenue, like about 20 minutes from the end, about 18 minutes from the end, and it's silent. And I thought it was just the internet not loading it. And then I went on YouTube and it's silent on YouTube as well. Pisses me off because I spend so long editing the episodes.
Yeah.
And then I export them and they're fine in Final Cut, but then something randomly will go wrong. But that's the first major problem that has gone up. Actually, no, it isn't, because...
Is it though? Do we know?
Well, I don't know about the other ones, but I do know there was one time where it's like, oh, it's 11 o'clock. Time the book club comes out in a few minutes. I'll watch it live with the episode. And I played it and it was just silent. The whole episode was silent. Do you know what actually pisses me off? I was saying the universe is sometimes I feel like the universe is against me.
Yep.
The part where it cuts out is the whole reason I put the episode on was to find out what my Ocean Avenue score was. And it cut out, as I said. So what did I give Ocean Avenue? It was 5 point. That's what it cuts out on the point of me cutting that out. But anyway, so happy times. Hopefully they can hear this and this one goes up with audio, but 4.33. Unfortunately, that doesn't even make the board for me.
Oh, okay.
So, but you said you wanted to do, said it before we were recording that you wanted to do a recap.
Well, I think at the end of last season, we did a bit of a recap. We could just do one now,
as a reminder.
As a reminder to everyone, we're early in the new season. We could just let everyone know where our standings are.
Sure. So
this is not our standings for all of the albums we've done, but this is our top 10, I guess, as it stands.
This is our top 10 of ratings, yeah. So my top 10 is Does This Look Infected? Self-titled Blink-182. Boxcar Racer we did last week has now come in at 3. Open Your Eyes by Goldfinger. Penny Bridge Pioneers by Millencolin. Sticks and Stones by Newfound Glory. Dookie by Green Day. Self-titled Ramones album. War on Errorism by NoFX. And Say It Like You Mean It at number 10 at 4.69. So that means an album needs to break 4.69 to make the board.
Yep. Okay. My number 1 is Does This Look Infected by Sum 41. Number 2, The War on Errorism. 3, Penny Bridge Pioneers. 4, Blink-182, the Untitled album. 5, Ocean Avenue. 6, Boxcar Racer. 7, Dookie. 8, Sticks and Stones. 9, Say It Like You Mean It by The Starting Line. And 10, Open Your Eyes by Goldfinger.
What's the rating at last one?
So this most recent one is 4.8. So it becomes tied with Dookie and Sticks and Stones.
Oh, wow.
So I've rated this highly.
That's very high.
Yeah.
Wow. Just for being like...
Interestingly, for some of these, I've got it to 2 decimal places. And for some of them, I've only got it to 1.
Oh.
So
and I'm the data nerd.
Yeah. So I think... I don't want to put this in front of Dookie and Sticks and Stones because they're both 4.8 as well. But I don't know whether I was just rounding down or rounding up. So I'll make this one a 4.8 as well.
Actually,
and I can just be tied with them.
Is it because it's 4.80 or did you just take off the second digit?
It wouldn't have been 4.80. I've rounded.
Why?
I don't know.
No, I thought you were saying you went to 3 decimal places. I'm the data nerd again because I don't know why you do that. That's so Sam. But look at that. Some of the other ones, you live in a life of chaos. You've got double digits for other ones, but just rounded the other ones for no reason.
Prepare for the worst.
Prepare for the worst. I do every time we record.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, cool.
Have you got a baguette right now?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, it's behind you.
All right. So when I was thinking about what I loved most about this album or what my final thought was about this album, I was thinking to myself, what is the best era of punk/pop punk music?
Okay.
I think a lot of people would say early 2000s. That's I think for a lot of people, that's the high watermark of the genre. But I think the mid to late 90s, for me, might be my favorite period. I love that sound.
Underrated in your mind.
Yeah. We're talking from Dookie onwards, but you've got this album falls in there. It's like Dude Ranch.
I was going to say, when we were in high school, you always gravitated toward Dude Ranch more than I thought someone would after anime came out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you still kept going back to that. So
there's something about that period that I love. I love MXPX, and I feel like that was their peak period as well. And this album to me just sounds, I know we've spoken a lot about the Ramones thing, and maybe when we started talking about that at the top of the episode, it came across as though we were being critical. But I actually love it, and I love this album. And towards the end of last year, I just went through a period where for some reason I thought to put this on, and I was listening to this nonstop. And I love the sound, I love the energy. There's a rawness to it that I really, really like.
If you're in the mood for this vibe, this album delivers it.
Yeah.
In spades.
Yeah. You talked about the guitar tone at the top, that guitar tone for me, it's perfect for this particular sound.
It's a literal perfect guitar tone for this sound.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
And so this is one of the albums that makes me realize that the mid to late 90s is my favorite era for punk/pop punk music.
That's right.
I think as well, as I said, I think a lot of people really love that early 2000s period for pop punk.
The golden era.
The golden era, yeah. And I think maybe the 90s, it wasn't as produced, and that kind of has a really raw feeling and a really raw energy. And I quite like that. It's not to say I don't like the early 2000s stuff. I love that music as well. But
do you think that they polished some of the punk out and you like the raw? That's what punk's about, right? It's not
maybe
caring.
To some extent.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love all that. I love Enema. Well, although that was late 90s as well.
Yeah.
But Newfound Glory and those kinds of albums, I love all that stuff as well. But there's something about the energy of this period that really grabs me and takes me back to high school, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a nostalgic portal straight back. That's the same thing I've realized ever since starting this book club, how much I love rawer, faster, punkier stuff. But when I was younger, I'd always steer away from it because I'd care more about, I grew up on pop music. When I was young,
so did I.
In Australia, you just got delivered what was on Rage.
Yep.
And listened to pop music. So I loved all the pop elements of pop punk. And now I look back and I'm like, no, because I ended up realizing that I just talked about with Boxcar, heavier, kind of rockier stuff. Plus I love heavier music in general. I've gone retroactively back to that.
And I think
I've gone retrospectively back to that.
Yes. I think both of us said that during last season, one of the things that we were doing a lot of was going and listening to a lot of punkier type stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I started listening to a lot more Bad Religion than I've ever listened to.
Yeah, same with me with Rise Against, just how loud and aggressive it is. So what I love about this album is that I feel like that with Screeching Weasel, it has highlighted for me that if you look at the family tree of pop punk music and how it goes up and all the bands that have influenced, I think one of the granddaddies of pop punk obviously is the Ramones, right?
Yep.
But it's splintered down into the different kind of genres, and then combined, of course, you've got crossbreeding going on with other punker acts, and then you have bands coming out that influence other bands, and it's it would be interesting to see if you could actually map it in a tree like that.
Yes, that is something you would do.
It's got me a little bit excited thinking about it, to be honest. But the idea is it actually are you able to actually do that? But then you have a lot of the bands, let's say on this side of the tree that I grew up listening to and really liked. I've always thought that the Ramones side where it kind of goes down, like down the waterfall down or the family tree down if you want to look at it that way. They've always been like the far distant third cousins of pop punk that I've always appreciated and loved, but never been exposed enough to, maybe because we didn't listen to it much in high school. I didn't really have friends that would put that music on. So I was largely like underexposed to that.
Yep.
Hearing it now, it makes so much sense that there's bands out there that sound like the Ramones. And that makes me so excited to unearth all these bands that I know exist because I know the band's names, I know of them, and I know other people talk about them. And I see people talk about, if you like Screeching Weasel, then check these other bands out.
Yeah.
I want to do them on the book club because I'm loving finding, we always talk about on the book club, trying to unearth like a treasure trove or like diamonds or gems. Like we go mining for great music.
Yep.
The fact that there is such an untapped gold mine of potential bands that sound like a band that I love, I can't wait to find them out.
Yes.
And this is a band I think that from that is starting to show me the path to find that on the music. And I'm
cool.
really excited to find more of it. Yeah.
So you really like that Ramones style?
Yeah, because I always loved the Ramones, but like maybe I thought that their sound kind of was of the era. And if you sound like the Ramones, it's back in the 70s, you know what I mean? Or the 80s or when they came out later. But it's like an older sound that people just don't do anymore. Or if they do, people don't take them seriously because they go, oh, you're just trying to sound like the Ramones.
Yep.
These are like the modern, just as like certain bands are the modern takes of like prior existing punk bands, there's bands that are the modern takes of the Ramones. And I want to hear more of that.
Yes.
Even if it was like 30 years ago, it's still new to me.
One thing I guess we haven't said either is even though there's clearly Ramones influence that they've like leaned into very heavily, they've created their own sound as well,
100%,
and their own energy to it, and which I think is really
just
good.
in the same way that you would hear a band, as I've talked about on this episode, heaps about bands that sound like other bands. They've always made it their own. Yeah. Also, what I love about this album is that it's so interesting to see all the genres that make up pop punk or can be used within pop punk. So, like this album obviously highlights a lot of like surf rock, 50s style, like rock and roll, etc. To the point where it's almost like they're unashamed about it to the sense of not even trying to hide it. It's so obviously 50s rock and roll.
Yep.
You know, you've got surf rock, bit of Beach Boys vibes in there, etc. Really, really fun, summertime American, 50s style music essentially. But it's like punk rocking in the 90s. I think it's really cool because you hear other bands bring in other genres that sound, it's like pop punk, but they've got a bit of a hardcore element like New Found Glory can get. Or like, pop punk with leaning way more into the post-hardcore element. And then you've got Boxcar Racer like we did last week. So with this, it's like showing how diverse pop punk can be for a genre that largely to an outside world may sound quite similar. But when you actually listen within it, you realize it's got so much more to give than I think people give it credit for. That's my glowing endorsement of the best genre of all time. Well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. We're not going to forget to do next week's album right now.
We're
going to make sure we get through it.
Have we agreed on it? We have.
Yes, we have actually. I know what this one's going to be.
Yep.
I picked it. I said to Sam, have we got one picked? If not, I've got one sorted. I've been in the mood to do it. Hopefully everyone else is keen to do it as well. But last week we didn't even have enough time to get changed into the pop punk clothes. So
that's right.
We had to go. So I think I was just thinking wrap up.
Yeah.
I was looking at the time going, we have no time left. But thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you can hear me speaking right now. Just after finding out one episode went up with no audio at the end. But thank you so much.
Maybe we should sign to people so they can.
Oh yeah, I feel like I'm going to be crossing some offensive barriers there because I don't know sign language. I've just been attempting it. Podcast's not the most accessible platform in the first place, you could argue. So that's a good idea, Sam. Right, so thank you so much for listening. It's so good to have you here. The fact that we're back for another season and there's more people. There was a comment left the other day being like, I just found you guys and I've been binging the episodes.
That's so good.
That makes me so happy. Yeah, come here and ramble about stuff, and people being like, "This is a nostalgic gateway back to my teenage years."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you want to help us out more than anything in the world, you can leave a review on a platform anywhere you listen to this. And if you're on YouTube, leave a comment below, and we'll probably read it out on an upcoming episode. Love having you here, of course, to nerd out about, as I said before, the greatest genre of all time. I'll stick to that. There'll be some hate comments from people outside of the genre for sure, but everyone who knows. But before we go on to some fun with Pop-Eth Punk, what do we got for next week?
We want to do a drum roll?
I've got to do a drum roll that's specific. I didn't do one for last week. That's because we forgot the title. That would have made me think. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. Because there was one song that had D beats and I just like that.
We are doing Stay What You Are by Saves the Day.
That's not true. I did not pick that album. This is libel. It's defamatory remarks. I did not pick Saves the Day.
All right. We are doing.
Imagine if I was like, can we please do an album? Because I never really get to pick them. Or I never just actually say I'm going to. And you just hijack it back and make me do Saves the Day. That'd be the worst time to do that. Anyway, what are we doing?
We are doing Futures by Jimmy Eat World.
Can't wait. I loved that album so much when I was younger. And for some reason the other day, I was like, I really want to dive into Futures. Like I've always loved it, but I want to rate it hard and I want to see where it comes out.
Yeah.
I want to see on my list. It'll be in the top 10, I would guess. But I want to see where it sits and I just want to chat it with you because I love that album so much when I was younger.
And you know what we're doing? We're baiting for people to give us their Jimmy Eat World and not pop punk. We're just going to reel them in.
Reels are the right word. Give us more content, baby. We honestly could have endless content from us talking about Is Stuff Pop Punk that we've done and also the Mount Rushmore. As soon as we talk about the Mount Rushmore videos, we put that up and more people comment and we just go back. Infinite content hack. Just purely like that. But yeah, so next week, Futures by Jimmy Eat World. Check back in then. Absolutely going to love it. Hopefully none of us are sick. We can actually be here. Yeah. But there's only one thing we're left to do.
It's time for Pop Punk.
Pop Punk in the style of Shakespeare. You know how it is. One verse, one chorus. You get one guess. Let's go. When dawn does wake me, I place my faith in the small hope that I might forget the bitterness thou bearest toward him more readily than I recall the fondness I once held for thee. Yet still I set quill to parchment and know well that every stroke is meant for thine eyes alone. Thou sayest thou needed him, yet I cannot help but wonder if I might stand in his stead. Perhaps I am but an accident in thy story, a stumble of fate, but even so, I strive with all my heart. And that, I dare say, is more than he has ever offered thee. Tell me then, where doth thy suitor roam this night? I pray he be a kind suitor, though my hope is feeble, and perchance he shall remain blind to the truth I carry, that thou wert the last bright thing in this dim and weary quarter of the world.
Okay.
I reckon the people who get it will have gotten it immediately. What's standing out for you?
There's two songs.
Well, it's only one.
There's two that are...
Imagine if I tried to combine two songs just to trick you and you're like, it's two songs. I'm like, oh, he's got me.
The two that I'm hearing in my head, so the runner-up and then the winner.
Okay.
The runner-up is My Favorite Accident.
Mm-hmm.
The winner is...
That's it. You got it.
That's right.
That's right. I was like, you were so off with My Favorite Accident. I don't know where that's come from. But that's exactly it. You just threw that from out of the park. I was expecting you to be wrong twice and you have to think of hints or something for you.
That was a good one.
It's good, isn't it? It's a fun one. But I was just saying, if you know it, it'll be like, oh, that's so obviously the chorus.
Yeah. Okay.
But tell us, did you guys get it? Let us know in the comments. You get your comment read out next week if you're the first one to answer. Okay, thanks so much for listening. Bye.
Bye. I don't have to say bye. We're going to do it again.
Nah, that's good.